announcement has been paid for by the Rated R Wrestling Podcast.
Rated R Wrestling Podcast. Go! Uncensored and unapologetic. Rated R Wrestling starts now.
Hey yo. What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 9 of the Rated R Wrestling Podcast. I am Aaron, aka Stud Muffin Supreme.
And I'm Dick Big. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Michael the Motherfucker. And this is the Rated R Wrestling Podcast.
We are uncensored,
Unscripted,
adulterated,
and unadulterated.
Yep.
Need to know our own fucking slogan.
We kind of wrestled around with that one, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
We'll get it right eventually.
We're workshopping it. Just bear with us, please. Unprepared, too, is also another, because I have to bring that up.
Off the cuff.
Unprepared in the sense that when I realized last episode, I have to make an amendment here, folks. Last episode, the darkest moments in history, we briefly tried to predict the upcoming War Games matches, or actually the Survivor Series card.
Failure of prediction.
Well,
And I was going back and I realized we only predicted half the fucking show because we ended up going on a tangent and
Went
forgot.
off in the left field and never came back.
And we
ladies
forgot
and gentlemen.
to talk about the rest of the show. So that's already passed, so we can't really predict. So
fuck over.
eventually we're going to do a blood and guts
Sorry,
versus
guys.
we're going to do a blood and guts versus War Games comparison down the road. So we'll touch upon what happened and all that stuff.
We will definitely return to that. That's not over and done with. ladies and gentlemen. The Rated R Wrestling Podcast will come back to War Games, and we're going to do Blood and Guts as a bonus for you guys to kind of make up for it.
Absolutely. So today, based on by the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, the Outsiders. Yep. R.I.P. Scott Hall. We've mentioned him a lot. In fact, you've noticed the Hey Yo, that's in tribute to Scott Hall.
Little tip of the hat.
We're just going to kind of go through a sort of a retrospective, kind of going over the highlights of both of their careers, individually and together, the good and the bad. We are not wrestling historians, so this is not going to be a huge historical piece. We've got bullet points, and we're going to comment on certain things that have happened alongside, and I'm going to try to do everything in the best chronological order.
yes, don't come after us, Kevin.
So that's going to be the basis for this episode. But before we
Well, tell
do,
you what, if you want to correct us, please do it publicly and at us.
yeah, absolutely.
We would love to hear from you if we screwed us up at all. Anyone that's involved.
Yeah,
Those guys don't.
leave it in the comments or go on our Facebook group, the Rated R Wrestling Podcast. Another shout out to that. We've got that going.
We've got a growing community there. Tip of the hat to you guys.
Yeah.
We see you. We appreciate every one of you.
Oh yeah, thanks for jumping on the bandwagon there and getting us going. We appreciate it. It's
For those
great.
who aren't there, what are you waiting for? Click join on that community.
Get your ass over to that
in
page.
here. We got some funny wrestling content. We got some serious wrestling content. Get in here and check it out, guys.
Absolutely.
We
Do that.
post anything, and I mean anything.
Yeah, and we have no like filters, or you can do whatever you want. We're not going to pussyfoot around. You can put whatever you want within reason. So you can't put anything super extreme, but we're not sticklers. We're not going to be like,
We cannot break Facebook guidelines, ladies and gentlemen, but other than that, we will push them as far as we can.
Fuck you,
absolutely.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pass the golden rule. Don't be a dick.
So, before we get started with the main discussion, there's a few talking points I wanted to bring up. First, I want to start off. We lost a legend here a few days ago, Larry the Dog.
R.I.P. Larry.
Larry.
He is, if you're not familiar, he is the dog of CM Punk and AJ Lee. I've seen him talked about a lot, especially he was brought up, especially after Punk left the WWE in the first place. And he recently passed away, and just wanted to give a shout out to, because I'm a dog guy. I like dogs.
I love dogs too.
And
Dog lover cast.
I love dogs more than humans. Fuck
And-
humans.
Larry was seemed like
Except you guys.
Yes, yes.
Except you guys. You guys are awesome.
Let's jump on top of Kyle there.
If you're not a fan, fuck you. If you are, I love you.
I like dogs more than cats, but yeah, Larry the dog was
I didn't say anything negative. Continue.
he seemed like a really cool dog, and I don't know, I just feel for them because he was very loved by a lot of the wrestlers, In fact, he was in the brawl out in 2022. He was actually saved by Kenny Omega in that big
Kenny.
brawl. So
Tip of the hat to Kenny from the international dog community.
yeah, thanks for getting him out of harm's way. But yeah, my condolences and best wishes from the Rated R Wrestling Podcast to CM Punk and AJ Lee. Hope you guys can get over this.
that Rainbow Bridge.
Condolences to you from the Rated R Wrestling Podcast.
Yes. All right. And then the last thing I want to kind of talk about, because it's topical, did you guys catch the finals of the Last Time Is Now tournament?
Yes, I did.
Well, the semifinals, I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's that?
I didn't catch the final there.
Finals.
I'm not. We're not time traveling yet.
I got a fucking DeLorean.
The semifinals. Well, the finals are set. That's what I was saying.
That's happening tomorrow night. That's happening.
Yeah, LA Knight versus Gunther.
Yeah.
I'm glad LA Knight beat Jey Uso. I did not want Jey Uso to win that.
God.
I was afraid that the IWC was going to have a collective meltdown. If Jey...
I was waiting for the internet riot to begin.
Well, it ended up being Jay. Well, it ended up being Jay having a meltdown. So
yeah, which is okay. I mean, we'll see how
we'll see where that change of direction goes for him.
But
it seems to be at least different, which is needed for him. Running it back is a little old at this point.
Yep, especially during a War Games match.
yeah.
But let me ask you guys this: how should I word this? Who should win, or who do you want to win the tournament? Who do you think needs it more?
It's got to be LA Knight.
No question. It's LA Knight. No doubt about it. No, hands down. Don't argue about it as far as need. Now, as far as what WWE plans on doing, I think they're going to build Gunther back up to be the big heel that he needs to be until maybe Roman is ready to do something.
Maybe, yeah.
But they just need a little more in each department, heels and faces, honestly.
Yeah, they got to do a little bit of workshop on that one.
They really do.
That's something that they can improve on.
Tag team division, other than just one or two tag teams, it seems like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, fix that damn thing.
It seems like they're taking a few steps in the right direction. I'm starting to like this AJ Lee, not AJ Lee, but AJ Styles and Dragon Lee team.
That could be their team name.
Dragon Lee?
That's the joke going around, is they're called AJ Lee.
Yeah, because they're actually starting to warm up.
Yeah.
They did that really cool tag team finishing.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah,
I did see that. That was a cool move. I will give it that. I've never been the biggest Dragon Lee fan.
Yes,
I'm just semi-skeptical, but call me a hater if you wish. Hashtag hater in the comments if you're
hater.
But I'll hate it if I want to, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I'm a motherfucker for a reason.
Absolutely.
Hate is great. Hate.
Hey, you gotta have hate sometimes. Without hate, there's no love.
The hate will never die.
Oh,
son of a bitch.
I think it's did it. It's an inside joke, people.
Yeah, you guys aren't gonna get this one.
It's a very insider reference.
Hate will never die. Maybe one day in the Out of the Ring special we'll elaborate on that. One day, maybe. But I think
20 different band names.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think I want LA Knight to win because they've done too many of those where he's been right at the tip and then they take it away.
Jeez, dude, calm down. The esophagus gonna blow out over there.
Sorry if everyone's eardrums just being destroyed by his.
We apparently have become a belch cast, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag belch cast.
Maybe a future shirt idea.
Yeah.
Or just say anything in the comments. If you enjoy the belches or want to compliment them, we'll take that. And if you hate it, let us have it.
Eventually, there's going to be a Belch omnibus. It's going to get to that point.
It's coming, ladies and gentlemen.
He's going to keep burping.
The pressure is literally building until the omnibus booms.
Just wait till
and then it become a multi-part.
It'll be like a 3-hour omnibus of nothing but him burping.
Just wait till the other one starts playing along too.
Because we do pre-show footage when we're sound.
Oh, there's a lot.
Keep a lot of that, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
eventually. You'll get when the DVD comes out. That's your bonus material.
DVD, Blu-ray, we'll do VHS.
We'll mention where to get that when the time comes, ladies and gentlemen. But
it'll be on here the channel before we get a DVD. But
yeah, the channel's got to grow. We're kind of just teasing, but
if we get more people into this, we want to do merch. We want to set up a pop-up merch store so you guys can get our shirts. Whenever we do get the shirts in, we'll show them off to you guys, and then when we get that ball rolling and more people come in, we'll get you shirts and
Absolutely.
repping the Rated R Wrestling Podcast.
We'll make shirts for all sizes too.
Yeah, buddy.
All
As
sizes.
a large gentleman here at the Rated R Wrestling Podcast, we understand the struggles of some of the bigger sizes. We will try to accommodate those that we can when that time comes. But until then, hold on to your seat because we've got a lot of content today.
Yes, sir. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing a deep dive, sort of retrospective on the careers of both Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, the Outsiders. Just because, I know I'm just speaking for myself, but I'm sure all you guys can agree, two of the coolest motherfuckers that ever was in the business.
One of the coolest
Absolutely.
one of the coolest tag teams ever.
Big Daddy Cool himself, Diesel, and then just becoming himself in WCW, just shedding the moniker. Just not Kevin Nash.
And just not
bad for a moniker.
Look at the adjective. Play.
the kings of not giving a fuck.
And Razor Ramon,
There you go.
who built
There
the
you go.
reputation of being the dude, kind of one of those dudes in WWF, jumped ship to WCW, becomes himself too, kind of an even cooler thing.
Yeah.
Definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
That debut. We'll
So we're going to start off. We're going to start with just Scott Hall first. His early career, he started in the AWA. He was known as Big Scott Hall.
with Kurt Hennig as his tag team.
Yeah, they actually won the AWA Tag Team Championships in 1986.
Can I just say he had a rockin' porn stash, man.
Well, before you even go that far, let's touch on his pre-wrestling career. He was a bartender, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
and
he was.
actually had a life-threatening incident as a bartender.
Yeah, that was
That led to kind of him wanting to change careers, and that led to him becoming a wrestler.
Wasn't he a bouncer that night?
He was also a bouncer.
Well, what I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was trying to get a guy out of the bar, and they ended up wrestling around or something. They were in
He was
a,
the bartender, the bouncer. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that, ladies and gentlemen.
He might have been a
We
bouncer.
are unedited and unadulterated.
yes, and sometimes we don't do our research. No, but I think they were wrestling around, and it was one of those it was one of those he or me situations. The guy was like going to hit, so there was like a gun or something, and then Scott ended up shooting the guy out of self-defense and killing him.
Yes.
And on the downside,
Thank you for the save on that.
Yeah.
then
I'm just because I was like an ESPN documentary I'm remembering this from, which look it on YouTube, look up Scott Hall ESPN documentary.
Scott Hall documentary that
Yeah.
he produced.
So yeah, that, and he self-admitting that fucked his psyche up.
Yeah, because that's what he ended up doing, drugs and alcohol.
Because
That led to his long road with alcoholism, ladies and gentlemen.
drugs.
yeah, we'll definitely you'll see that'll reoccur a few
I think
times.
drugs kind of just came later from partying with others, with booze.
Maybe
And it was predominantly like weed and somas. Somas were the big thing.
Halcyon.
Yeah, H-bombs as they called them. Somas were the drug of choice during the mid-90s.
Ladies and gentlemen, we may get an adult content just for talking about these things. I just realized that. So sign into your accounts. You may get age restricted. It's happened a couple times.
Well, inside baseball here, I make sure we're not. It's not kid friendly. So
this is true.
This is
But
not
I've
made
had
for
complaints
kids.
from certain people that they just can't
Fuck
sign
kids.
in or.
oh, really? No. Well, if you do have trouble signing in, we do apologize, but we are uncensored, unfiltered, all that stuff.
Try fucking
We don't have any. We're not sugarcoating things here, folks.
We don't water it down.
We talked about suicide last
talking about
episode. So
suicide, rape, and
I believe we had over 50 F-bombs on episode 2.
oh, I'm
I
sure.
think that was because of me. So yeah.
So yeah, he was in the AWA, won the tag titles with Mr. Perfect. They ended up becoming pretty good friends in real life. Mr. Perfect, a very big influence on Scott Hall's career. He would eventually be the inspiration for Scott Hall's most famous persona, Razor Ramon. But before that, he goes to WCW, and he is managed by Diamond Dallas Page. Shout out DDP. And he is known as the Diamond Stud.
You did that pretty well. You
Yeah, I agree. That's good.
Pretty impressive.
Very good.
We need a like just for that.
You guys are learning from Mr. Perfect because Kurt Hennig, man, he can make anything
One
look
take,
good.
ladies and gentlemen, right here at the Rated R Wrestling Podcast.
Learning from the
We
school
are
of Kurt
eventually going to
Hennig.
become one take everything, but that's going to take a lot of time.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. So, like I said, he's a diamond stud in WCW. That's actually where you kind of started seeing the early shades of Razor Ramon because he had the toothpick. and he was throwing the toothpick at sometimes. He kind of was getting the look. He had the curls going, no more mustache. And
orange stash.
yeah, he was.
That was awesome though.
Yeah, it was very much so. Dude was built like a Greek god in AWA.
Dude was chiseled marble.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know how they got the hair on it, but man.
Dude, he had immaculate hair.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Even on his chest, man.
I've never admired a man's body hair before, but I suppose he had some good body hair.
Non-gay way, but yeah, he had some pretty rocking chest.
That was kind of odd for me.
nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong at all.
So yeah, if you're feeling secure with your sexual masculinity, that's okay, because there's times where it's like you start questioning things in your life.
That's right.
Once he left WCW in 1992, he ended up. He ended up going to the World Wrestling Federation. He debuted in late '92, right?
About mid to late '92 is when he came in.
His biggest thing, he was feuding or starting a program with Macho Man. It was Machismo versus Macho.
Yeah, because they had the tag match at Survivor Series.
Yes.
Mr. Perfect came back into Scott Hall's life. He wrestled in that night.
So, because it was going to be Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior versus Ric Flair and Scott Hall.
But Warrior being Warrior.
Yeah, he got out of there. So, Mr. Perfect ended up replacing him. And I say this. Go on YouTube, look up. What's the name of the show?
Wrestling Challenge.
Wrestling Challenge. It's the show, go home show before Survivor Series. The entire episode is all about trying to get Kurt Hennig or Mr. Perfect to turn babyface. That I watch that every once in a while. That's such a great segment. I don't know. Have you ever seen that?
I have not.
I would recommend. Well, you'll have to watch that because it's basically the whole episode it starts out with Mr. Perfect obviously on the side of Bobby Heenan and Ric Flair, and by the end of it, he slowly turns babyface and joins Macho Man's team. It's actually really good.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Very well produced. I enjoy that. So yeah, I'll have to let you see that one time.
I may have to give that a watch off air on the Rated R.
Rated Rtron, yeah.
We're sponsored, and with the case, you could be whatever you want it to be.
And you could see the debut of the Rated Rtron. We just posted a couple of days ago, actually almost last week, our very own Rated R Wrestling watch along. Our very first one we did, Armageddon 2006, the Fatal 4-Way Ladder Match. Go check it out. It's really funny.
It was also a hybrid debut, ladies and gentlemen. It was, I believe we also mentioned it a few times on episode 8.
Yes.
So a hybrid debut on that one.
Yes, we did. Shout out to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so once that was all taken care of, he was Razor Ramon, the bad guy. Do you know the story about why he became the bad guy, Razor Ramon?
Absolutely. I do know this one there.
Yes.
I will let Rain Man take the reins on this one and cut into not screw up my facts sometimes.
So basically, so you did mention Mr. Perfect played a role in it.
Yes.
But it was mostly Vince McMahon. He had to convince Vince McMahon about this.
Yeah. Well, Vince wanted him to be a G.I. Joe like army guy.
Yeah, he wanted him to be a soldier guy. So then I guess Scott Hall had a better idea, and he goes, "Have you ever seen the movie Scarface?"
Which I don't think Vince did.
Vince never saw Scarface. So I guess he bought or rented a VHS tape of Scarface. And I believe he sat down with Vince and watched
Him and Bruce Pritchard.
They all sat down and watched the movie. And it wasn't. They did take some inspiration from Tony Montana, but it was the other guy that he took mostly.
Yeah.
What was his name?
His buddy, and his right hand man in that,
Yeah.
Ronaldo or something like that.
No, I think. But yeah,
Because he was the one doing it. Because if you watch the
Sorry,
cartoons,
aficionados,
yeah.
correct us in the comments.
all you gangster film experts.
Because he's the one in the movie going, man.
And he had the slick hair.
He had the little curl in the front.
chain. And yeah, that was basically what Scott Hall took his inspiration from. So he showed Vince that.
I don't even have hair, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of ridiculous.
And Vince loved it.
He's the one that should be doing that, but here I am. But that's what I do for your entertainment, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so basically him and Vince sat down, watched Scarface, and Vince loved it. And Razor Ramon was born.
Yep.
Now, at first, they had a different idea on what Razor Ramon was going to look like. Because there is footage out there of his dark match debut that he had. He came out wearing long tights.
Yeah.
Razors all over him.
Yeah.
With knee pads and all that. It didn't look very good.
No.
So they went with the traditional trunks that had the razors, which is probably one of the coolest looking wrestler gear ever.
Yeah, very iconic.
He comes out with the vest. He got the razor necklace. Comes out with the chains and
The
and
toothpick was the
toothpick was the trademark.
He really solidified
He
that.
went like this. He would throw it at the
cherry
guy.
on top.
Literally start the match, throw it at the guy's face, and he's got one of the coolest entrance musics ever.
Oh,
You know, that-
Didn't he keep a few toothpicks because he threw one at the camera?
yeah, he would throw it at the
Yeah,
camera,
yeah.
and then
I think he had one in his ear too.
Yeah.
I think so. And then he threw it at the guy he's wrestling and all that.
Yeah.
But that badass entrance music he came out to.
Not to mention his. Well, he wasn't doing this at first, but eventually he did the slide.
He would come in like this. And
The Scott Hall shuffle slide,
And then the-
whatever you want to call
Oh,
it.
yeah, the-
slick.
the
later
fire
on, later on, they incorporated the pyro with it, where he would get in the ring and do the pose.
Which he said that he actually started doing that as just like a way to fire up in the match.
Which I mean,
And do you know the origin of the surf walk? Why he did it?
oh no, I don't think I've heard.
I
the
don't.
origin. I
He did it because when he would walk down the aisleway back in when the aisleway was kind of narrow, it was to avoid people, like because people were touching him, obviously.
Yeah, back then,
so
people would reach out.
he ended up just kind of like he said on the cuff, he just did this, and looking back, he goes, "That kind of looks cool. I'm just going to keep doing that."
Yep, and he ended up doing it. And then, like I said, that music, you know, the tires screeching. I mean, badass song
Oh, yeah.
come out.
Listen to Jim Johnston 1 and 2 over here.
Yeah, I know.
Gentlemen.
Shout out to Jim.
Markcast.
Shout out to Jim
This is
Johnston.
us.
Yes,
Jim Johnston, man. I think that was a Jim Johnston song. Now.
it was his during his time. Yeah.
Yeah, cause it was Jimmy Hart wasn't composing music anymore. So.
No, because at that, Jimmy Hart was almost out of the company. So
Yeah, he come out to the song and you know the Razor's Edge, one of the coolest moves ever.
Yeah.
Dope.
The dope move, the Razor's Edge.
I love his little. Sometimes the wrestlers will get you hyped. They'll do like a taunt before he would do the. It's over.
Yeah, when he did that, your ass is going down, dude.
Although he did kind of have an annoying habit, I always thought was. Do you ever see where he would try to do it, where he would literally have the guy and they were right in front of the ropes? It's like there's no way you're power bombing him out of the ring. You know he's going to flip you over the
He's
ropes.
going to get flipped over the top.
That was the one thing
There's
I.
always a tease spot. Right.
Yeah.
What that is.
Yeah.
Man, the best ones is where he would get the guy so fucking high in the air, and the guy's like, "Oh fuck, oh fuck," and then
He gets some height on those bitches.
He
Well,
plunged
that's
the fucking
why
ass to the
I
ground.
think he wanted the front row to pop. He enjoyed seeing that. That's why he would threaten like he was going to throw his opponent.
Almost like
Yeah.
the rail, almost like the prototypes when like Batista would shake the ropes and Kurt pulled the straps down and all that stuff. Kind of, he was one of the early start the finisher.
Yeah. Oh, I loved his fire up.
But he would just go like this and
Well, Hulkamania was a big fire up. But
and
it's not
Warrior
just
did
good
it
at
too,
that one.
but Scott Hall made it cool.
Scott Hall did have a rather cool one.
Yes.
And then his fallaway slam.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Which would eventually be referred to as the SOS or the sack of shit.
Basically. And he'd nail you with that, and he'd go like, he'd go
Done,
like that. Just every little detail about him, he would get in the ring and
I
just.
hope his pop filter worked, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
I hope so. If it did, you're welcome.
So yeah, he his
Just ooze machismo.
his first big real program besides the tag match and all that was I remember at '93 Rumble he fought Bret Hart for the belt,
Got a world title
which that was a thing I had a hard time
match.
remembering.
Underrated match, pretty good.
Yeah, and his heel character wouldn't last much longer.
The fans started cheering for him.
Yeah, he became like a cool heel.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier
One of the
off camera, but no, you're good. You're good. You're good. He was one of the pioneers of making but yeah, before then there were.
You're good, but I'm just gonna keep talking.
Would you like to say something?
No, I immediately thought of Mr. Mackey. You're good. I'm good.
It's bad. It's
I
bad.
knows myself, ladies and gentlemen.
When you do, can you hear it was bad and good?
South Park moment. All right.
That's right. But he would. What the fuck was I talking about?
We were talking about how he was one of the first real
Like one of
instances
the
of a
first
cool
tweeners,
heel.
if you
Yeah,
will.
cool
yes,
heel.
before then, the fans were cheering. Bad guys like Billy Graham was cheered by the fans. When he was a heel, and so on and so forth. But
But this is
this was like one of the first
a big
instances,
instance.
Like the fans, he was a heel. Like when he did work at anticlimactic match with Bob Backlund at WrestleMania 9. That's actually one of the first times you noticed fans were starting to cheer him.
Yeah.
Because no one liked Bob.
Nobody talks about that match anyway. So I tell you
it
this.
sucked anyway. So
Yeah,
People like Bob Backlund retrospectively, not necessarily at the time.
people in the '90s didn't like him as much as people in the '70s and early
That's
'80s.
because he was born. And then
He was pretty vanilla. He was actually a vanilla midget if you think about it.
I loved Mr. Backlund way more.
Yeah.
Shout out Kevin Nash.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yes.
But back to that WrestleMania 9, fans were cheering him in there, and he was still a full blood heel.
Yeah.
And even when he worked this program with Sean Waltman,
1, 2, 3 kid.
when he did
That was a big moment.
the big moment on Raw where he lost to a jobber.
Which was sort of the thing that I always admired about Scott Hall's career. He never had a problem doing a job for
Oh
anybody.
no,
Man was
he was a
happy
business
to,
guy.
hand the
Yeah,
torch
he
down
He was for
to
the
next
the
guy.
business.
He always said it's not about winning as long as you got a rocking match.
Damn right.
Absolutely.
And
that's the spirit of wrestling, ladies and gentlemen.
and he gave a lot to Sean Waltman. 1, 2, 3 kid made his career
Yeah,
with that
I mean,
big win.
Before then, he was just a shitbag
he wasn't
jobber.
supposed to win.
No,
Yeah, there's a lot of documented instances of Razor Ramon or Scott Hall in any company being like, "No, why don't we change the finish? Let me put this kid over."
I'm going to change the finish, and when we get backstage, let me take the heat.
not to jump way ahead in the timeline here, but in WCW, he put Jericho over on an episode of Nitro.
Yes, he did.
And he was supposed to win, but he went up to Bischoff.
Well, because he knew that his character was bulletproof.
yeah, and he goes, you know what? Let's get him a win tonight. Let's let him get a win.
Scott Hall's character was one of those that could take a loss and it wouldn't hurt him
Absolutely, and
because he was just charismatic and over with the crowd.
oh, dude, that's why he didn't get hurt whatsoever losing the Brett and all that.
No, and like I said, his loss to 1, 2, 3 kid made
Yeah.
Sean Waltman a big name, and it also led to his eventual where they pulled the trigger on his babyface
Right,
run.
to circle back around.
Because I think he turned babyface against Ted DiBiase, didn't he?
believe so. I think it was Ted DiBiase because they wrestled at SummerSlam. It
Yep.
was his last opponent, technically. So yeah,
And that eventually led to his
IC
first
title wins.
first of many. He had 4.
He was the first man to make it to multiple reigns with the Intercontinental
And
title.
if there is a Mount Rushmore on either 90s wrestlers or Intercontinental champions, you bet your ass on mine he'd be on both.
Oh, bar none, like 100%.
Dude was perfect as like the gatekeeper Intercontinental champion because he was like the guy that if you worked with him and did good, then you worked on to the main card.
Absolutely. Scott loved to pass the torch on to the
That's
guy
right.
who was going to be the guy or make that guy.
Yeah.
Scott should have been world champion.
He's one of those guys that I thought one of the best guys that never won a world title.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
He was 100% made
Top
for.
3 guys never won.
Oh yeah,
Let's be honest.
he's definitely in the top conversation.
And I think I can't speak for him, but he comes to me as one of those guys that wouldn't really want it. Like
he's like with Jake the
I
Snake.
got to the top without being the champ.
Yeah.
Like, well, take his buddy Jake the Snake for example. Jake didn't win a world title, but he didn't need it.
some guys are bigger than the title.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Honestly,
Think about
That's a rare achievement when you're bigger than the title.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of which, a little bit of a flashback to the modern, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think about Triple H saying Roman is now bigger than the title?
I can see. I see it. You can't deny
I think it's
that.
Triple H.
Yes, it is.
Or about my facts.
Yeah, it was Triple H. I can't dispute that because
Unfactual motherfucker right here.
I mean, and you're the motherfucker over here. So yeah,
Roman is at that level now to where he can sell out, not even being in a title match.
he's
I
a
think.
draw. He's a box office draw now.
Which is crazy to think about where he was 10 years ago, where everybody.
nobody
Oh
wanted
man, the
fucking market.
McMahon cramming him down everyone's throat.
Yeah.
Booing when he's supposed to be babyface. It was not a good scene for him.
Then-
Suffer and succotash, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I need to
And
say.
it took a heel turn for it to save his career.
A massive one.
Yes.
Which we were clamoring for years. Mm-hmm. And they finally did it, and they said, "What did we tell you? That's all you
Yeah.
needed. That's all you needed to do."
So,
All you need is
all
you.
you.
so like I said, he was the standard bearer for an Intercontinental champion. He was a workhorse. Always wanted to do the best matches possible. He won his first title from Rick Martel. That
It
was
was a
his
tournament.
Intercontinental tournament.
Because Shawn Michaels in the 90s.
Yeah, which that led to Shawn.
Dick himself.
That led to he was sort of like the interim Intercontinental
Yeah,
champion.
so they had a storyline where Shawn got suspended because he got busted for drugs or something. So then they had a tournament. Scott won the tournament, and then Shawn was brought back in November because Jerry Lawler was on trial for something. Yeah, sorry, Jerry, but
well, he got acquitted a bit. So
he did.
Something, ladies
So
and gentlemen.
they brought him back very quickly at Survivor Series that year.
yes,
Which led to him coming back, and then he was coming back with the IC title. He said,
I'm the real champion.
I'm the real champion. Scott Hall's just a fake champion," which led to the classic match at
WrestleMania 10, the ladder match, Shawn Michaels.
Unify the belt.
Which I got to say something about this. I've heard Ric Flair say this, and all love to the Nature Boy. You've probably heard this a lot. People have always said that match was Shawn Michaels wrestling a ladder. Fucking
No.
Scott Hall carried that match too, and
Scott was a great worker. He could work.
fuck
Ric
that.
Flair's a man of extreme statements. Some are factual, some aren't.
Very controversial.
Some are most are controversial.
Yes.
Dude, Scott pulled his fucking load in that.
Sure, were the highlights mostly predominated by Shawn
Yeah,
Michaels?
he jumped off the ladder, did the
But
splash.
you gotta have two people. You have to have a perfect dance partner, and Scott Hall and Shawn Michaels,
They did. And
they
had-
clicked. I mean, it was
It was gold.
it's still considered one of the greatest WrestleMania matches.
No,
ever.
it is a controversial match because that was supposed to be Bret Hart's match.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Brett originally pitched the ladder match idea, and then him and Shawn had like a demo run of it, and
Show Vince what it was about.
and eventually it got to the point where Vince just said, "Okay, well, we're going to use this match for WrestleMania for Razor and Shawn." But that's
Bret got left out in the cold.
yeah,
Well, he did win the world title that night.
yeah,
so
true. Consolation, Brett.
He did get his flowers that night at WrestleMania.
He got his consolation.
But, let's face it. I mean, Shawn and Razor stole the show pretty much.
And then I thought, and this is my opinion, I know everybody loves that match, but I put their rematch a year later at SummerSlam, that ladder match, because I saw that one first before the WrestleMania one.
me too.
I put that one up there too.
That's a really good one, despite the wonky botched finish.
True.
They did botch at the end.
True.
Big botch.
But it was a great match, though. And that the fact that they had to work around it, because by the time SummerSlam '95 came around, Vince didn't want ladders used as a weapon.
Right.
He put a ban on it pretty much.
So they
then they worked around it, but they still use it as a weapon. So
Yeah. I'm not going to hit you with it. I'm just going to throw you into it.
So like one spot, I think it was Razor that did it. He just let the ladder fall. And
Yeah,
hit-
I didn't do it. The ladder fell.
Yeah, the ladder fell. Gravity.
Gravity did it.
Yeah.
It was an act of God.
And
Couldn't do it.
correct me if I'm wrong, but that might have been the first ladder match where they used more than one ladder.
Yes, it was.
Because they used one ladder at WrestleMania 10.
Well, if you remember, in the SummerSlam match, one of the ladders kind of got fucked up.
So then they had to bring out another ladder.
Yeah.
And that kind of started the whole trend.
And do you remember at the beginning where Shawn kind of threw a bitch fit with the belt?
Yeah, so the belt was put on the device where they hang it up. So the ref puts it up, the belt's like dangling like this. Shawn goes, And
Bring it down.
They literally came down, he went,
He just adjusted it slightly.
I don't know why, but it happened.
So Shawn was kind of being a little bit of a prima donna that night.
Being a little bit.
He needed it a certain way, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I think ultimately it was just the way they originally said it, it'd be hard to reach for it. So he wanted to make sure it was where you could unstrap it.
Well, that's
without,
ironic because at the end he's struggling to get it.
yeah.
That's ironic. I mean, he fell off the ladder and you could tell he's getting pissed at the
Yes.
end, too. Poor Razor had to sit there and sell it on
Yeah.
that. But
Still
still,
his ass off, but
a fantastic match.
Yes.
Still a great fucking match. I mean, those two were made chemistry for each other. And that match put Razor on the map, too.
Yeah, pretty much.
It solidified him as
It's
a top
like
guy.
the second tier guy because he was like I said, the guy that you worked with before you went to the main event.
And you got to keep in mind, too, back in this time in 94, 95, having 4 Intercontinental title reigns was a big fucking
Yeah, it
deal.
was.
Now everyone's got 6 of them now, but back in 30 years ago,
That was a
holy
big deal.
it was
That's
a
old to say
big
30 years
deal.
ago.
If you were the IC title holder more than twice, especially, you were pretty much destined to be the guy.
Right. So
Yeah.
4-time Intercontinental champion was nothing to
I mean,
sneeze
if things had worked out and he had stayed with the company, I feel like he would have been world champion at some
if
point.
if he would have got his demons under control, and maybe Vince would have had. I feel like Vince didn't have confidence in him, which was a shame.
Well, that kind of leads into what we're talking about because, like, one of his last reigns is when he was working with Goldust.
Oh yeah, the gold.
So this is where this is sort of like a controversial topic
Yeah.
topic at times because we're all aware of Goldust's androgynous persona.
That's what
very
Vince always said it.
playing on the homophobic fears of a lot of people during that time. To the point where he's like
Push the button hard.
rubbing on dudes and
Kissing them.
Rubbing his nipples.
and in real life, IRL, Scott Hall was not really comfortable doing this gimmick
not
with
at all.
Dustin.
Nope.
To the point to where he was just like really questioning things, and then they were slated to have WrestleMania 12 match
Miami Street Fight.
for the Intercontinental title, but
I mentioned that they had the program where Gold does have the tattoo,
The tattoo.
and he'd have the bellboy come out give him flowers, and you could tell the look on Scott's face. He's like,
Yeah, he was saying without saying, "I want to fuck you, Scott."
basically, basically implying he wants to fuck the bad guy.
Definitely an eyebrow raiser, especially at the time. It was
Yes.
a much different time than it is.
Right.
Very taboo stuff, very brazen stuff they were tackling there.
So they did have their match at the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
And very, very homoerotic in that.
Yeah.
Like he was rubbing
But he
on
was
it on.
he was a trooper though. He went along with it.
And if you go back and watch that match, fans say some very colorful stuff to Goldust.
Yeah.
Especially one particular gentleman in the crowd that pops up. I will not say it on here.
Yeah.
Because I won't offend all
It's
the
a
gays.
floor. We may be
let's-
uncensored, but
let's
we
just
try
say-
to not offend if we
Let's
can
just
help it.
say it
Yeah.
starts with an F and it rhymes with maggot. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But yes,
We're not complete dickheads.
But yeah, he beat Razor for the title, won the IC title,
And then they were supposed to have their big Hollywood match, but then
Miami Street Fight.
yeah, and then
WrestleMania 12
then Scott Hall
got suspended.
well he got suspended.
He also put in his notes.
Another suspension, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen.
the timing of it, I got to correct you on the timing because he gave his notice that he was leaving to go to WCW because his pay was plateauing and he was trying to get a better deal, and he was like, I just want a little bit more of a, not necessarily a guarantee, but just something that a little more meat on the bone here, and I'll stay. He didn't want to
He wanted to be
leave.
financially more stable.
And then
you know?
Vince couldn't acquiesce his request.
because they were losing a lot of money. At the
Yeah,
time,
because it was kind of a slow period.
it was a dark period for the Fed.
So
time.
he was entertaining the offer from Bischoff, so he gave his notice, and all of a sudden he fails the test and he's out at WrestleMania.
Well, not only that, but he had to wrap up his feud with 1-2-3 Kid.
Yeah, which-
the
Crybaby match, which they've only ever done one, and thank God.
Thank God, because that was a very
Just the
goofy match.
premise of that fucking
You
match.
beat the guy and you put a diaper and powdered his ass. There.
Which I'm surprised they didn't do that to Scott since he was on the way out.
Definitely the highlight of entertaining Vince writing.
That's good shit.
Yeah.
And then also too, after he came back from his suspension, he had to job the Vader on pay-per-view the next month,
Yeah.
which he put up. Which you go back.
It wasn't a complete squash.
It wasn't, but it definitely was not competitive like he normally did. They feel like
No.
they kind of fed him the Vader a little bit.
And then we get to the curtain call.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's not hard to get fed to Vader. Vader
Well-
tends to take anyway, and potato,
Well, this was during when they actually tried with Vader, when they were trying to push him.
Yes.
So they had
that's a story for a whole other day.
I go in there tired about Vader.
Yes.
Big Vader fan, by the way.
Big Van
so-
Vader.
Love Vader. Love.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace, Vader.
Big man.
So
Curtain call.
we get to the curtain call now. Before we completely talk about the curtain call, let's kind of meet both guys here at this
Let's
because
talk about.
they're both at the same. They meet at this point.
Yeah, this will intertwine in what our next.
So we're going to talk about Kevin
Big
Nash.
Daddy Cool.
I'll pull up. Yeah.
I don't know if the camera can see that.
Well, I don't know. His original song was just a truck sound. It literally
Yes.
went,
Yes, you're correct.
So Nash was he was going to play basketball and he wasn't able to fulfill that goal, so he ended up becoming a wrestler. He started in WCW, and Nash, he was the master of a lot of interesting gimmicks in WCW.
Yeah. Oz.
Well, before that, he debuted as one of the Master Blasters.
Yeah, a Road Warrior knockoff.
He was Master Blaster Steel, if I'm not correct.
Nowadays, if you get called a Master Blaster, it's a whole other
Yeah, that's a different meaning now.
But
Yeah.
we won't tread on that one.
No, not at all.
I just wanted to bring up the difference in the culture nowadays.
Yes, that was sort of like you mentioned, a Road Warrior kind of gimmick.
Who did he team with?
Was it Al Green?
Is it some karate?
I don't know. It was some.
Quick Google search here, folks.
You know what? It's not
When
Al.
the Rain Man has to Google search.
That's
when you know it's obscure.
irrelevant.
It wasn't
It's
Al
not.
Green because I think
So actually, no, it wasn't Al Green. It was Kevin Nash and Corey Pendarvis. Who?
Yeah,
he was then later replaced by Al Green.
yeah.
So Al Green was in the match. Yeah.
Well, the Corey guy,
Al Green.
he was in a match. I heard the story from Jim Cornette that they were in a match and he forgot the spot and he was fucking up and he literally was in the middle of the match and he went, I don't know what the fuck to do, and then he hightailed it out there and never came back to the business. So that was that dude's one and done. So,
Now he's working at the local Arby's now.
so the Master Blaster obviously didn't work out. So what was the next idea for Kevin Nash in WCW?
Welcome to Oz.
Welcome to Oz. So Turner, of course, had the the Turner classic movie. So Wizard of Oz is on there. Hey, let's make Kevin Nash the Wizard of Oz, which is weird because
The Grand Wizard.
Kevin Nash, Kevin Sullivan was the Wizard, was his manager.
Yeah, and Nash was Oz.
Yeah, he had this big green pants and jacket. He wore like a Halloween store face mask.
And then
His hair was silver.
at first when they debuted him,
He had a big
so he did.
platinum beard, or was it like?
It was-
Yeah, it was like white beard.
Yeah, it was platinum.
Then he
Yeah.
took the mask off and he had like silver hair before he actually started legit braying in real life.
Yeah.
So let's keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But when they debuted him at Super Brawl that year against McGee, was it Tom
McGee. And then they had the actual like Dorothy and Toto.
Yeah, they
and-
had this grand entrance where they had a fake stage backdrop of the. This is so
the
stupid.
fans shitting on this, by the way.
Oh, they were booing the fuck out of this. Not in a good way. Not to like boo.
was-
boo.
Go away.
This was go away X-Pac heat. Sorry, Sean, but this was X-Pac heat. But yeah, it was get the fuck out of here. We don't want to see this bullshit. But yeah, he had like what 2 matches, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, not to mention his finishing move was a play on the tornado where
It was like almost kind of like
the border toss.
Yeah, almost like the border toss, and it
And
was
he would
like
flip you around and drop you like a
it
sack
was to
of shit.
represent like the tornado from Wizard of Oz.
Right.
So kind of like an F5.
Yeah.
Kinda, but this was their stupid play on
You've seen Hernandez's border toss, haven't you?
I have, but the way you kind of
So he would grab you like in a razor's edge position and just throw you like a sack
Yeah,
of
he
shit.
would. Spin it and kind of like make it simulate a tornado.
But
Basically.
Nash's version was even spin you.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't last long, but by the time his run came to an end, they dropped the entrance.
Well, yeah, and they got once the Oz thing ended, he became Vinny Vegas.
Oh,
Which actually was a decent gimmick.
Yeah, it wasn't insulting to anyone's intelligence, and they paired him up with Diamond Dallas Page.
Again, so there's that connection.
Yep, the DDP connection there. Best friends in real life.
One of the
And
hottest connections in wrestling.
oh yeah, shout out DDP.
This was DDP's entrance to wrestling.
Yeah,
So-
pretty much.
Shout out DDP.
Yeah, and he was 35 years old too.
Yeah, he was late in the game.
Yeah, but he made it good.
Oh yeah.
Nightclub owner to pro
And
wrestler.
yeah, and so Vinny Vegas was sort of like a mobster-like character. Did you fart or something?
No.
No, I just happened to notice something. That's all.
Oh God. Okay.
Sorry, my ADHD's
No, you're good. I thought Kyle might have shit himself or something, and I didn't hear it, and I wanted to prepare my nostrils.
Point it out in post production, and we'll have a laugh.
Shit.
So yes, Vinny Vegas. He was that until '93, and then he debuted in WWF in late '93
Late 93. So
as Shawn Michaels' bodyguard as Diesel.
Big Daddy Cool. Which he was just a bodyguard.
Yes.
He wasn't wrestling.
No, and
He
then
was involved in that ladder match, so there's that connection.
yeah, he was part of that match as outside. Yep, and then eventually he started getting on a singles run, and they were pushing him as a big monster heel.
He came out to the
Big
truck.
vicious heel.
He actually won his first Intercontinental Championship from Razor Ramon.
Yep. And he had to
Man,
shit.
doing the honors.
Absolutely. And then they ran it back at SummerSlam that year,
Yep.
and Razor beat him again.
And then they eventually split him and Shawn.
Yeah, so, and then all of a sudden, a week later, after a Survivor Series,
He went
94,
at a house show.
Magically.
Diesel becomes world champion.
He beats Bob
Bob
Backlund
Backlund.
in seconds.
8 seconds, I think, in Madison Square Garden.
And
So
Vince
this
just
will also turn back
Vince
around.
puts the rocket.
So Diesel power.
Diesel.
Wraps the rocket to his ass, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, and this is where it's going to come blue. But let's talk about that promo he cut after he won the world title.
Yeah.
A very, very bad promo. Oh my
A
God.
generic babyface promo
Like
with
Kathy Gleason says,
how sweet it is.
Big Daddy's got that gold.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the people start, like the internet wrestling community. Well, it's not really internet
Well, the
wrestling
internet was
community.
around, but
Smart fans.
But the smart fans were starting to, they didn't like this new goody two-shoe Diesel, which
they always knew he was a badass.
Diesel was better as a
He
badass.
come out and just kick your ass, and he was silent.
But-
He pulled the glove down.
For me personally, because this is where my first kind of real remembrance of wrestling, that era, the new generation era, I kind of grew up. in that. I love Diesel as the champion. I always thought he was cool.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, when you look back,
He did not sell.
I think it was wrong time for him.
I think that's where the debate comes in because
There's also a lull, I believe, in wrestling
It was.
in general.
Because that year, 95 was a rough year.
it was probably arguably their worst year ever.
Financially wise.
Yeah, I mean, for fuck's sake, they were doing house shows in high school gyms.
They were doing Raws in high school
Raws.
gyms.
Like, you go back and watch some of those episodes of Raws.
They're
like
you can see the
rinky-dink-
basketball court.
Yeah, these rinky-dink.
The scoreboard and all that.
Terrible. But, you know, this is where that debate comes in. Like, people always say that he was one of the worst world champions ever. I'm like, I think the problem is he was just in the wrong place
Timing?
at the wrong time.
And then his
quality of
opponents.
Now, granted, his first title defense was against Bret Hart.
Yes.
At 95's Royal Rumble.
Which was a banger.
Great match. Bad ending. DQ finish.
But his last matches as champion.
But the match where he lost the title was phenomenal.
Yes, the match that he lost the belt was his best match.
But his matches with Sid,
Yeah, they couldn't really work magic.
Sid and Bam Bam.
And then SummerSlam with King Mabel.
Yeah, fucking Mabel. Sitting on his back.
Which Vince was going to fire Mabel after that match because
Even though Nash told him do not.
Nash saved his job.
He did.
He said, "Don't fire him."
Although he was legit pissed.
He was mad because you
Mad as hell.
can hear it in the match when
He's going, motherfucker.
Well, you can also hear when Mabel dropped his ass on Nash's back. You can hear him go, "Ah!"
Yeah, so he fucked him up bad.
Yeah.
It was like a 10-minute shitfest match. That was one of the worst world title matches.
Yeah, it was. And then a random run-in from Lex Luger in his last appearance in the company.
Nitro, a week or two later.
And it's funny. He comes in to help Nash, and Nash just fucking clocks him.
He's like, fuck.
It just makes no sense.
And then his shit match with Bulldog at In Your House. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
A horrible match. Yeah.
But yeah, his reign, like we said, came to an end. Bret Hart at Survivor Series in '95, his best match of his reign. It was where they started planting the seeds of Kevin Nash's heel turn as Diesel.
He was one of the early tweeners.
He was actually, yes, he was riding the line of heel and babyface because his famous thing was, if the fans here for me, that's cool. For everybody else, he'd flick them off and give them the bird.
See, this is how you do the I'm not a good guy, I'm not a bad guy.
I'm the guy.
He did that way better than when Roman did it.
Yeah, and it started becoming a big thing. The smart fans were liking the cool heel.
Yeah, because that's what they liked him as, a badass.
Yes.
Not this. Because the problem with Nash when he was world champion was Vince wanted to corporatize him.
He was in a Christmas sweater during a Christmas
He was
event.
doing suits. He was in the suits. He was doing the commercial sign in
full
the.
court press media treatment, and you can't do that with a guy like him.
And he finally got to be himself a little bit in his heel persona.
Right.
And that's where I really think, and this is just my hot take, that's where the seeds for the Attitude Era really started, I think.
I mean,
He was flicking off Undertaker in
they
the
were having
ramp.
this feud where he was flipping him off. Bret Hart was busted open by the Bulldog and all
Yeah.
that. They were really toying with more edgier.
I like the
storylines.
attitude that Diesel was doing as a tweener, too.
Yeah, like he didn't give a fuck.
Because even though he was technically a heel, he was still feuding with Owen Hart, who was a heel over Shawn Michaels.
He beat him at the In Your House paper.
Yeah, it was a heel program technically.
Yeah.
And then he was still friends with Shawn. They were like buddies at the Rumble when Shawn won and eliminated Kevin
Two
Nash.
dudes with attitudes.
Yep, that was
Two dudes with that.
a cool team.
That was a great team.
And then eventually Nash goes full heel against Undertaker at WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 12, which was actually a pretty damn. It was one of the better.
For a big man match, it was really good.
And you got to give props to Undertaker. He literally signed his divorce papers that day, according to Nash. Did you ever hear this?
I think I've heard that story before.
On Stone Cold's podcast on Broken Skull. Shout out to Stone Cold.
Hell yeah!
The tip of the hat. Hell yeah! He said that going into that WrestleMania match, Undertaker was going through a divorce, and I think it was the day of the match. He signed his divorce papers, and Nash went up to Taker, and he goes, "Oh, well, are we gonna do this?" And Taker said, "This one's on you, big man." And they went out there and actually had a hoss fight, man.
Yeah, it was really good.
Really good.
It was better than his match the year before.
Well, okay, his title match with Shawn at WrestleMania.
No, I was talking about Undertaker and King Kong Bundy.
Oh, Taker had a damn good upgrade from King Kong Bundy.
Yeah.
I mean, Diesel and Shawn had a good match with the world title, sandbag and jackknife powerbomb aside.
Yeah,
but,
Shawn sandbagging him.
Yeah, but that was the click,
Hey, but that's the thing. Kevin Nash admitted, he goes, "You got to do what you got to do." And then you mentioned the click with him and Razor Ramon. They were part of the click.
Yep, the Click.
That was like their own group of guys that worked. Sean, Razor, Kevin Nash. There was eventually Triple H.
Waltman.
Yeah, Sean Waltman. Triple H was brought in. He was the sober one. He was the wheel man.
He was basically he was the DD.
And here's the thing. Here's one that a lot of people don't know. Did you know technically Just Incredible's Click?
So yes, by technical, this is when he was Aldo Montoya.
Yep.
Portuguese Man of War.
He's technically, but he wasn't recognized a lot. He wasn't recognized at all during that time.
No,
but,
he comes out with a jock strap on his head.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
I
that.
was not aware of this, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah, well,
Yes, technically he was a Click member.
yeah, he was
like a satellite.
the Portuguese Man of War is what he was called.
Aldo Montoya.
So, like you were saying,
One of these things just doesn't belong here.
So the Click were basically they were their own little group. There was a couple of cliques technically. There was Undertaker's BSK group.
Hell yeah.
With the
BSK,
Godwins,
Street Crew.
with the Godfather, the Godwins, Yokozuna. So
Bearer.
it was basically politics. And there's like a stigma that some people in the business throw at Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Shawn Michaels, the politicking of the Click.
More specifically, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, we've heard that.
Bob Holly.
They were close to Vince politically, and
Yeah.
they were trying to do things that at the time people could construe it as being selfish. But I really genuinely believe they were trying to
Shane
make
Douglas,
they were trying to make the product better.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, several people in the business have been quoted as saying Shawn Michaels was the only person who could motherfuck Vince during this time.
Yes.
Or some certain legends say
Which
he
basically
actually,
meant he was so mad and irate, he just every probably third, second, fourth word was probably motherfucker this, motherfucker that.
Yeah, Sean was like bulletproof to Vince.
or in certain legends' words, he fucked Vince.
Yeah, Brett.
Yeah, Brett.
Did you hear Brett Friesen comments?
I have heard Brett's comments, but I've heard others talk about it as well. I'm not going to name names because I honestly can't pull them up off the top of my
Brett's
head.
the biggest, most recent
But
one.
Brett is the big, high-profile one. But yes,
He's like on a revenge story.
Vince and Shawn Michaels being lovers, possible
Which-
development.
That's not new. There was always rumors him and Warrior were doing shit on the bearskin rug.
Him and
That was-
Hogan.
so, I mean, who knows? Who the fuck knows?
That was 30 years ago.
If it does,
Now, Jim Cornette's to be listened to. He was over his house quite often during those times, and he said he would have to have done stuff at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
on a golf cart ride in between saying such before they catch an airplane
that'll be something that we'll never ever know.
Yeah, I think when
behind a building or behind a vending machine at like a gas
and he
station.
piped it behind then. Who knows?
Yeah, so-
who the fuck knows?
There's a lot of influence with the Click.
Right.
So
which may or may not have something to do with Nash's top reign as champion.
yes, so there's a lot of politics and stuff. So they had that stigma that carried with them even in the WCW.
Right.
But we get to we're going to kind of converge
After
now.
WrestleMania. So
We're converging now at. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
before we get there, let's talk about his final program with Shawn.
Oh, when he was full blown
Yeah,
heel.
so he turns full blown heel, which he was kind of full blown with.
But this was
Undertaker.
like he was like legit because now him and Shawn were not friends anymore.
So at the In Your House, Good Friends, Better Enemies,
they had like a street fight, right?
which was a really good match. It was a no holds barred match, and it was his final pay per view match.
Yes. And then that leads us to where we were earlier, the curtain
We'll
call,
Come back here,
Clayton Call.
which was a house show in Madison Square
which
Garden.
is ironic because that's where Diesel Power started.
Yes.
in Madison Square Garden.
And so Hall and Nash were both leaving because, like I said earlier, Hall got the offer to go to WCW. Nash decides that he's going to follow suit when his contract's up, solely because at the Royal Rumble that year, Brett refused to take Nash's finish in the cage match. They had a cage match
Well, it
for
was
the
an In Your House show. Yeah,
Was it
More politics
in your
than-
house?
it was
I
the-
stand
it was
correct.
the-
It was the one after the Rumble.
Yeah, it was
Because they were trying to build up Nash and Diesel and Undertaker, and Nash had to win the match, but he had to give Brett the jackknife, and then Undertaker was going to come in and fuck Diesel. Not literally, but fuck him in the match.
Rest in peace, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to hit you in the tombstone.
Fuck you in the ass.
So that ultimately that whole deal led to Nash following suit with Scott Hall. They both signed contracts. So this was going to be their last night in the Garden.
Yeah.
So they decided that after the cage match, after the main event, Triple H, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Shawn Michaels were all going to hug it out in the middle of the ring.
Which was very taboo at the time.
Yes.
Very, very.
Extremely.
Kayfabe, brother.
Kayfabe.
Kayfabe was obliterated that night for everybody in the audience.
Because some guy in the crowd just happened to have a camcorder.
Now, the story goes that Vince approved it. but he may not have known the full details. And I also say, if it wasn't for the guy with the camcorder, it may not have been a big,
gotten out.
but it went everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, tape trading probably ran wild. And then earlier that night, Scott, fans were chanting. The smart fans were in New York City,
Yes.
so they obviously knew they were in the know that they were leaving. And they were,
WWF's core audience at the time.
right.
Yes.
And they were chanting at Razor, "Please don't go, please don't go." And Razor he didn't want to go, but he had to. He
wanted McMahon to give him a small guarantee that he would
Right.
get a little bit of a bump in pay, but Vince,
Same with Nash, and they have said, if you just give us a little bit more money,
because they did not want to go.
but Vince couldn't pay him, so
Couldn't guarantee it.
yeah, because
Yes.
you got like we mentioned before, they were hemorrhaging money at the time. They were not doing great business.
No.
and he couldn't afford to pay him. So they just said, okay, well, we're gonna go to Turkey.
What they asked for, he could pay them, just not what they were asking.
Right, he could pay them, yeah. So they did the big hug. The guy in the crowd I'm surprised he didn't get a hit put out on him after that.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised.
And what's unfortunate about the curtain call was, and you mentioned earlier where Sean could pretty much motherfuck Vince. Sean was bulletproof. Kevin and Scott were leaving. So that only left one guy that was in that group
Triple
to get all
H.
the heat.
Triple H.
Paul Levesque, a.k.a. Hunter Hurst.
Who was slated to win King of the Ring that year.
Ric Flair says Paul Levesque.
Levesque. And that cost him politically. But I think he did okay for himself.
Hey, he did all right.
He managed to work it out. So.
So, but yeah,
That single moment changed wrestling.
it did, because Hall and Nash would go to WCW, and in fact, I believe May 1996 on a random episode of Monday Nitro.
Now, does anybody know who was in the match
I don't
that he
remember.
interfered in?
I don't remember.
I could tell you one of the guys that was in there.
Who?
Mike Enos.
Mike Enos.
Mike Enos as the Mauler.
So there's your trivia there,
Fun
folks.
fact, he wrestled some jobber.
There's your did you know for the episode.
He wrestled some guy from the local Arby's.
Yeah, so like they're wrestling, they're having this just nonchalant match, right?
Mauler.
And then all of a sudden, here comes
who's that
Scott
in the
Hall,
crowd? Who is
which John Moxley shamelessly ripped off in his debut of an AEW.
Okay, it may have been inspired by that.
But
Here comes. People were like, "Holy shit, that's Razor Ramon."
yeah, because
He wasn't Scott Hall.
they
yet.
weren't addressing him, but they weren't even giving him a name. They were just like, "Who is this guy?" And he was coming in the ring doing the Razor
He
Ramon
just said,
promo.
you know me.
You know who I am.
You
know
but
who
you
I am.
don't know why I'm here.
He was doing the Chico, all
One of
that.
the greatest wrestling promos
Using the
ever.
machismo.
Yeah.
And it was the the famous line, "You want a war?
You're gonna get.
You're
one.
gonna get one."
Yep.
And he referenced the billionaire Ted skits from WWF.
Yep.
Where is Scheme G?
Nacho
The
me.
Nacho Man.
And then a week later,
And a week or two later,
Kevin Nash shows up
Bischoff is interviewing Hall, and he goes, "Well, where's the other guy that you?"
right behind you, buddy.
And then Nash fucked up his promo. Look at the he went like this. He went,
Look at the
"Look at
adjective.
the adjective."
You mean
What?
verb? It's a verb, Kevin.
Yeah, I like how people always point that out. Now I'm like, oh, dude, we've known that for years.
Yeah.
We've known that since day one.
It's a verb.
It's a verb. We're here to
Take
play.
Kevin back to what? They probably teach that in first grade now.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I would hope so.
I hope they teach.
That's where I learned it was in
I don't know the way
elementary.
these kids fucking talk now.
I
I
think it was
mean,
second grade for us, but they've
the way these.
kind of accelerated the education since we've been in school. a little bit.
I don't know the way these chuckle fucks talk.
Yeah.
I question that.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point.
Yep.
So
So
Nash got the
That's
promo.
chuckle fucks.
Yeah, chuckle fucks. Yeah. One chuckle fuck to another. But yeah, Nash cuts the promo, and he goes, and they tease a third man.
Yep.
And he goes, the measuring stick's gonna change around here.
and you're looking at it.
So 2 weeks later, or two, that the next
Was that Great American
Great
Bash?
American Bash. So this is when this kind of gets a little, very sticky. So very sticky. Huh?
Hey, giggity.
Giggity. So Vince McMahon's aware of this.
Yes.
And he notices that Scott Hall is doing the Razor voice.
Mm-hmm.
So he sends a cease and desist.
Yeah, 'cause they're like,
Sue
you
Jerry
got-
McDivitt says, "Oh, we can do something about that."
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, so then he threatens to sue WCW.
So then they pretty much have to admit on air.
Yeah, so Bischoff comes out and he brings out, this was during a pay-per-view, by the way.
Yeah.
That they saved this for a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
He comes out, Nash and Hall's there on the stage. He asked them, "Do you guys work for the WWF?"
They're like, no.
They say no. So this was their way to get out of that.
They were putting the kibosh on that.
because originally they were
Cut the
portraying him.
ties.
You have to understand they were portraying them as invaders.
They were
Rejecting the idea that they were from the other company.
yes.
Which that is a theory that had been sent.
That was
Hall and Nash
that's a theory that
to
still runs
WCW
to this
to fuck
day.
them over.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah, I think Vince Russo came up with that theory. Of course he did.
But I think that was to supplement the theory that he was the one sent to do something.
Oh, okay, that was on his.
yeah.
So maybe there was people who thought, oh, okay, they were just sent there to sabotage the
Right.
company and all that. So they admit they are not from WWF. They powerbombs Bischoff through the stage, and then it's got the ball rolling to the big
Yeah.
moment.
So originally, I don't know if you guys know this. Do you guys know that Hogan was not the original third man?
Nope, he was not.
I do know.
You know who you did? Do you know who was going to be the third man?
Oh,
There's actually quite a couple of theories. on who was
recently
gonna be.
learned this, but
Well, I only know the one major one. I don't know about any other ones.
Well, I heard a couple of other ideas they were going to.
I'm gonna say I don't know, but I did at some point.
It was the man called Sting.
Yeah, Sting was
Oh,
the
Sting!
Yeah.
It's Sting. It's Sting.
because they had to have somebody who was homegrown WCW to be like part of the invading force. That seemed like the goal.
Hogan was still on the fence of turning heel because you hear the stories where Bischoff went to his house.
And he refused to turn heel.
And then Hogan gets wind of this.
He sees that money train
Yeah,
rolling.
he sees that gravy train.
Hey, brother, I think it's time.
I think we need to do this, brother.
Which I think it worked out for the best because I don't think Sting would have pulled that off.
No. And then you ever hear that Hogan's agent was literally crying to Bischoff about him turning heel?
That wouldn't surprise me.
Legitimately, this man was crying.
They're ending the money.
Well, Hogan saw the other money and said, "All right, brother."
It's time.
You can tell too because but spoiler, Hogan's the third man.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. If you didn't fucking know that, where the fuck are you doing
So
here?
there was a 2-on-3 handicap match. With
Yep.
The outside. They were called the Outsiders.
They-
This
up
is
and-
where
up-
the name started.
Up and until that point, they still didn't even call them by their first names.
no, they
yet.
were just called
They
the
were just
Outsiders.
the
Outsiders.
Yeah, so-
and they took on Sting, Macho Man, and Lex Luger
So Lex Luger gets shit canned out of the match early on.
to kind of give them an excuse to have a 2-on-2 situation.
And then, like I said, they would either address like the big guy and then the bigger guy or something. That's how they would work around it before they gave them their names.
And then,
And then the big
well,
moment-
they finally gave them their names at the end of that night.
yeah, they did. At the end of the night, they got their names.
Because Hogan comes out,
Right. So Hogan comes out.
which
and then-
Bobby the Brain Heenan kind of spoils it
It
without
was really
spoiling it.
stupid. On certain WWE DVDs, they edited it out.
Yeah, well,
But I'm like, that makes sense for Bobby Heenan's character because he never trusted Hogan.
fair enough.
So he comes out, he goes, "Whose side is he on?" And you can tell he's still wearing his like casual cowboy boots because he was still on the fence, turning heel, up until he got to the building.
Yeah,
He
he was last minute in it, but
He
he
could have easily said, "Nope,
yeah, he could have.
Not doing it, brother.
that doesn't work for me, brother."
And then Hogan comes in and drops the leg.
drops the leg, and wrestling was changed
Rips the
forever.
shirt off.
He's the third man. He cuts that promo. He says, "You guys can stick it, brother." And the NWO was born.
Arguably the best heel turn of all time.
It's
The New World Order of Wrestling.
Yeah, they were called the New World Order. They didn't even call it NWO.
No, they didn't shorten it. It was just, we're the New World. Well, Hogan always used to call it New World Organization.
And Larry Zbyszko called it New World Odor. New World Odor.
But so you had the core three. You had Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash.
The core three.
And that turned the tide for old WCW.
Well, wrestling was changed forever after that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Just
no
not
doubt.
just WCW. I mean, this started their 83-week winning streak.
Well, yeah, because you had
The start of the legendary 83 weeks.
Yeah, shout out to 83 weeks.
Bischoff
Shout out to
and,
Eric Bischoff.
Conrad there.
Shout out to
Yeah.
83 weeks with
we'd love to be guests or hell, come on here.
on here,
A
Beach
girl can
Beach.
dream, right? So yeah, so you had the cool factor with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. That's what Hogan needed for this
Right.
to work.
Well, it took Hogan a while to kind of get the
Yes, there's that legendary story where they're filming the first NWO promo, and Hogan's
Universal.
still in like 80s Hogan
Dude,
mode.
like for months, he was still cutting Hogan style.
What you gonna do, brother?
It was an old habit that he had to break.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think he was doing it for what, 12 years at that point. So,
And then Scott and Kevin had to like, no, brother,
well, they were looking at each other like, is
this ain't gonna work. This is not
they
gonna
were,
work.
They were very skeptical about this.
This isn't gonna work.
So finally, Hogan decided to snap out of it,
Yep.
and then
And-
NWO ran roughshod.
Adding 1 million members.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the million members of the NWO.
This is sort of also turned into an
Everyone
NWO
wanted to be
retrospective.
part of the NWO. That was the cool thing.
Yes.
That's the way to get on
They
TV.
got a lot of TV time.
Literally, that was the way to get on TV.
And people were getting signed left and right to WCW, which and
Michael Wall Street,
and here's the thing:
IRS.
Scott Hall and Kevin Nash a lot of people will say this, they're very smart businessmen.
They are very smart.
Because I'm trying to remember what the name of the deal.
Cracker for a cracker.
Snack for the podcast.
Snack time.
You ever heard of the term favored nations?
I've heard of it.
That is what those two guys used to make bank in WCW, because in their contracts it stated that if you brought in anybody else that was a big star, if they were getting paid more, you had to match with.
Bump up the pay?
Yep, Scott and Kevin had to have their pay matched.
Yeah.
The one of my favorite stories is when they were, right after they had just jumped ship, Vince decides, I own Razor Ramon and Diesel.
Oh, yeah, this bullshit, yeah.
And so they brought in the
Jim
fake,
Ross comes out, turns heel.
the fake Razor Ramon and the fake Diesel.
Rick Bachner. And
Well,
Glenn Jacobs.
when they make the announcement, the higher-ups in WCW start freaking out, like, Scott and Kevin are only signed to deal memos. They could technically walk.
they could.
So they called them and they're like, you guys aren't doing this, are you? And Scott's like, no. They're like, listen, we'll double your pay if you stay.
So they gave him
Okay, we won't go.
money, dude.
And then he said Scott said the best part was when they were watching on TV and fake Diesel and fake Razor came out. They were all watching the monitors and the execs were looking, and then they looked at Scott and them were like,
I mean, you already paid us.
Yeah, completely backfired on Vince in WCW in the long haul. So.
That's just one of my favorite stories about that.
It's a very, very interesting story. But hey, that's what Scott Hall says.
But yeah, they were pretty much the top of the food chain megastars with the
in this
NWO.
business, you can make friends or you can make money.
Yes.
Well, they made money.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, they made money.
And then they would eventually split off. They do the NWO Hollywood, NWO Wolfpack. That was the first time that they split up Kevin and Scott because they sort of had a mini feud, which led to probably one of the darker parts of that.
Yeah, but before that, they were running roughshod in the tag division. I mean,
they were. I actually have this in my notes. They won the tag titles in '96.
Halloween Havoc '96 from.
They were, according to this, they were seven-time WCW tag champs.
Well, because a lot of times.
Well, Scott was 7-time because he had one reign with the Giant.
The Giant.
Yes, and then the other ones were with Nash.
Well, you got to keep in mind too. The reason why they had so many reigns is because if a guy beat them, they would come up with some bullshit reason for them just
to get it
back over. They wouldn't even win him.
Yeah.
Poor Steiner brothers. They did that.
Creative control is a bitch.
Yeah, because obviously,
Especially if you're the booker.
or if you're friends with the booker.
Or you're friends with the that doesn't work for me brother.
Yeah.
Yep. Which like I said, they ran roughshod with the tag team titles, and you also too. We were talking about how Hall puts over guys and all that. He was putting guys over during.
Yeah, he was.
At Slamboree in '97, he took the loss to Flair and WCW and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So he put them over.
Scott never had a problem. We mentioned this when we were doing a job.
Nash
It
was
meant
complicated.
Putting guys over left and right.
Nash.
Nash wasn't as giving with his jobs.
No,
Much more guarded with his.
very much so.
So
Especially the smaller dudes.
that's and
So then they did their little run. They did the first heel turn, which Scott turned on.
yeah, Scott. A lot of people thought Scott was going to be with the Wolfpack, but he ended up staying with Hogan in the Hollywood brand.
Yep, and then this
Led to Last Call Scott Hall.
This is where we get dark in this story.
So
Alcohol is
Scott's demons with alcohol were pretty apparent. So they decided, let's turn this into a storyline.
Which was right around the same time as Road Warrior Hawk's storyline.
Yeah,
But I feel like
awkward.
Trent Russo was also involved.
He wasn't there just yet.
Oh, never mind.
Not for another year.
Not yet. He wasn't there just yet. But he was there during the Hawk thing.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, Russo was the writer in the Fed for Hawks.
Yeah.
Which I feel like they did Scott Hall even more dirty for this thing.
Yeah, 'cause-
man,
I mean, Scott was having personal problems at home with his marriage and everything, and
he kept getting
Dark time.
Well, that's why you always notice that Hall took a lot of time off during this time.
yeah, he was.
He was in and out of rehab.
Yeah,
a lot.
he was not present 100% during those final few years.
Yeah. Does anybody remember they had to go backwards, but Starrcade '97 when Nash was supposed to wrestle that night,
And then he supposedly got hurt.
Well, there's two stories. He either lifted his bag that had weights in it and it strained his heart because he has a history of heart problems.
Right.
His dad died at a young age of a heart attack, and he claims that he thought he was having a heart attack.
Right.
So he got pulled off the show. So then Scott was normally the guy that would take the beating from the baby faces and whatnot. So he got his ass whooped by the Giant that night, and then
Took one for the team.
Took one for the
gotta give props to Scott for that.
friendship.
Took a bullet for that. But yeah, that's like I said. That's why Hall took a lot of time off because he was in and out of rehab. And then Nash would have to carry the load.
Yeah, and it was hard to stay committed to a story because Hall would be there one time and then be gone.
DUI, he'd have a rehab,
Yeah, and then meanwhile, while all this is happening, Kevin's sort of coming into his own as a big main eventer.
Yeah, he was in the Wolfpack.
Wolfpack for life. Wolfpack for life.
Came into booking.
Don't tell me.
Yeah, yeah.
He was also
Yeah,
booking.
he was the booker. Yep.
You have any insight on anything about his booking, or have you, like?
Well, I have a breakdown on how hard it is to book 2 shows in 1 month.
Thunder was going on
To get to a pay-per-view. You end up with 8 shows, possibly in a long month.
Yeah.
And you have to keep concurrent storylines separate from Nitro and Thunder.
and the C shows too. So
And then on top of it, when you get there, certain people can just go, yeah, that don't work for me, brother.
And it just fucks up
It
everything.
just screws up your whole
and
plan.
they got to change the card and all that.
Yeah.
Emergency planning, what do you do then?
Not to mention, with all those shows, they were writing for tape shows. So if shit went wrong in the live show, it fucked up the tape show,
Absolutely.
and vice versa.
Continuity.
Continuity.
See, I feel like that's why WCW's continuity was very fucked.
Especially Goldberg's winning streak.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
he's 120. He's 95.
141.
Dude, he was
So-
42 last week.
Yeah. So that brings us to another big highlight in Kevin's career. He won the WCW World Title in 1998 Starrcade.
After he has blow off with Scott Hall.
Yep.
That Halloween happened.
Yes,
Yep.
which he ended up, like I said, he ended Goldberg's streak, became the world champion. A lot of controversy around
Very
that.
controversial.
Some people, because I think Nash,
Controversy creates
Nash
cash.
was a part of the booking committee at that time. Nash gets a lot of heat for himself booking himself to beating Goldberg and ending the streak. But if you listen to some of Nash's points, Goldberg was starting to get booed.
He was.
Who
And
beats Goldberg at this point?
and in all fairness, Goldberg was made to look really strong because Scott Hall tased the fuck out of him in that
Yeah,
match.
this is after Hall got off of his.
He got him good.
With the cattle
might have
prod.
been a little personal.
Yeah, I mean, he
Got him
jabbed
a cattle
the fuck
prod.
out of him with that.
So, and to be fair, technically it looked like Goldberg did kick out at the end of that.
Yeah, so they did kind of protect Goldberg, but still, the Goldberg streak was over.
So then that goes into something that Nash is very famous for being involved in. The finger poke of doom. Would either one of you guys want to describe to the audience what the finger poke of doom was?
I got you. So, ladies and gentlemen, the finger poke of doom. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall are booked for a world heavyweight title match, I believe, on Nitro.
Well, it's Kevin. Who was it? Those two fighting each other?
So they originally booked a rematch with Nash and Goldberg on the January 4th, 99.
Oh, okay.
Nitro.
All right.
At the Georgia Dome.
Yes.
At the Georgia Dome. Proceed.
It was originally booked Goldberg Nash.
So it was Goldberg and Nash in a rematch from Starrcade originally.
Well, somehow Hogan got involved in
That's what
it.
I'm saying.
Well, this is where it's kind of convoluted, because they promoted Nash and Goldberg, but they did a bit of a bait and switch. And
Okay.
this is when Hogan was doing his presidential run.
Oh, yeah.
Goldberg was taken to jail because
So they had to fill in the match.
So then Hogan comes out and says, "I want to fight Nash." tonight."
Right.
And the thing they were saying was the winner gets to face Goldberg in the main event or something, or Goldberg faces the winner.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, this was very
All right.
stupid.
All right. So we've got it. Now you can take the ball and go with it. Okay.
It's literally the main
Well, what
event
happened?
tonight. It is supposed to be the big match, this big, huge match, the surprise main event, Hogan versus Nash.
And
Two
Scott
of the
Hall
biggest guys in the company.
And
The
Scott
leaders of the both rival NWO
Hall, and
factions.
keep in mind, during the entrance, Scott Hall came back and got a huge pop from the crowd and all that during the introduction. Nash goes like this. He points to the entrance.
He was
Scott Hall-
officially, at the time, part of the Wolfpack.
Yeah, he comes out and the crowd goes fucking nuts. So we're off to a good start. And then what happens?
So they get in the ring, bell rings, they look like they're gonna lock up, and then all of a sudden, the posture changes. There's a finger that juts out from Nash, and it proceeds to plunge into Hollywood Hogan's chest.
Well, it was the opposite way.
Sorry, I stand corrected once again, ladies and
No,
gentlemen.
you're good.
The factual guy right here.
For a second there, I was remembering that way. I was like, oh, and then it took me a second. It's like, oh, God.
So Hogan plunges the finger into Nash's chest. Nash takes the big fall to the mat. Hogan puts a foot on the chest. 1, 2, 3. Hogan wins. Everybody's chums. Audience goes nuclear.
Oh, they start throwing.
Things start flying into the ring.
It was a swerve, bro.
Everyone's confused as fuck. What's going on? Goldberg comes down,
Gets his ass kicked.
and Luger turns heel, and the NWO Elite
Is formed.
Yep.
The
And
Wolfpack is no more.
And we were back to the same old shit.
Same shit, different time.
Yeah.
God damn it, same shit.
So as you can imagine, this event has gone down as one of the biggest blunders in wrestling history.
This was their response to Mankind winning the title.
Yeah, that backfired on
that
a
was
big
on
time.
the same night, too.
Yeah.
The infamous butts in the seats line. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Tony.
That was the big turning point in the Monday Night Wars too, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is funny. The NWO were involved in the upward trajectory of WCW, and then they also became involved in the downward trajectory.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting if you look at it like that. So,
The finger poke of doom.
which Nash himself has defended it as saying what they were trying to accomplish was doing the old school way of the heels getting so much heat on Goldberg that he would just become the big dragon slayer. But I think eventually,
It made Goldberg look like a bitch, though.
yeah, but then not too long later, Goldberg, doesn't he hurt himself with the glass spot?
That was later in the year, so that was towards the end of the year. But
So that never, came into fruition.
yeah, it just made the same old shit and all that. And then Hall and Nash really didn't do nothing.
No, not really.
I mean, Hall had to fight Goldberg at one of the pay-per-views because the story was Goldberg was getting his revenge on the guys who fucked him over with the title.
Yep.
So he beat Hall at Sold Out, and then at Super Brawl or Spring Stampede, Goldberg fought Kevin Nash.
Yep.
Which was so weird because wherever this was going down, the rest of the NWO was acting very babyface-like.
I know.
And then Nash was just acting like a dick.
So many inconsistencies with what they were
Dick
trying to
Nash.
do.
Dick Nash, yeah.
Speaking of Dick, I would like to remind everyone that this was my first exposure to anything other than the coolness factor of wrestling when a buddy of mine told me that his mom had the hots for Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Big
just
sex.
to circle back around to personal experience.
Little callback there.
When you were younger, were you watching WCW?
That was actually mainly what I watched due to having a certain cable service that I won't name that at the time did not have USA on it, but it had Turner. So I watched a lot of WCW. That was my early exposure to wrestling.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Greg was a big WCW guy, wasn't he?
I love WCW.
He was.
Greg was a both guy,
Oh, okay.
but yes.
I love WCW.
But the head cable had the privilege of having both. Certain whole cable service did not.
No.
Assholes.
No. See,
I'll let my rage loose. Assholes.
Assholes.
Did they rhyme with wish?
No, they rhyme with Williamstown.
Oh. Okay.
Williamstown.
Now, me and Kyle, we didn't for a while. We never had cable. We had just standard,
Standard TV
channels.
and all that.
So we were only watching SmackDown on our TV because we had UPN.
Now there
Well,
was
we
a
watched
time
Raw.
for that for me too.
And then we watch
watch Raw.
Well, if
We
we
had
went to our
Spike TV.
well, no, this was before that era. This is
TNN.
in 98, 99. So I don't know if you were.
Well, I was a year old.
You were really young.
So you
But
might
if I
have
was anytime I watched Raw would be at my grandma's house because she had cable, and I don't remember ever watching anything of Nitro until like late 99, 2000. So the whole peak of the NWO was I never was
By
part
then,
of
the
that.
NWO was pretty much phased out.
I never was a part of that when it was happening.
But yeah, and then you didn't miss much because after that finger poke of doom, things kind of
Things were going down.
Things went downhill fast.
Well, number one, they changed the logo, and they changed the set to that bird shit logo.
Yeah,
Which it's okay, but the classic WCW logo is great.
and then
And then Rey Mysterio lost his mask. to
Yeah.
Nash.
yep.
Nash took his mask.
They found it necessary to take Ray's mask. That was kind of
Yeah, but Ray.
They did the smart thing a few years later and put it back on.
Well, yeah, you can ask his bank account. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he made a shit ton of money off masks.
So as far as the rest of WCW goes with Hall and
I
Nash,
don't know much happened.
not a lot of things. At least, a lot of things happened, but things were changing so much that it was crazy all the time. Nash was like a commissioner at some points. Scott Hall was in and out. They tried to revive the the NWO Silver and Black
NWO 2000.
with Bret Hart and Jeff
Storylines
Jarrett.
were everywhere at the time, and then not very conclusive or concurrent.
And you had these storylines where Nash was trying to be a babyface or heel when feuding with Sid.
Yep.
And then there's that moment where Sid fucked up his promo.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
Nash would come out every week dressed up like somebody.
He was dressed up as Sid, and then him and Hall were in the ring, and Sid comes out to try to get a one-up on him, but he ends up owning himself.
I only have half the braid.
Yeah, you do. And the best part is Nash laughing, and then Scott. The best camera shot is on Scott Hall where he does this. Let's talk about spooky fingers while we're here.
Ooh.
That's one of my favorite wrestling taunts of all time.
Hall,
It is.
So Hall did that when he was Razor.
Hall and Michaels even did it during the DX days.
Yep. Didn't he do it when he was Razor?
They did it a couple times.
Yeah.
That was their way of, and they would do this a lot because a lot of the times throughout the Clickdom and then in WCW, they didn't care if they fucked shit up. Like if they thought something was going bad, that was sort of their way of rebelling against shit they thought was lame. Lame.
This was their lame.
Because they didn't mind if you were sucking on the mic, if you were like with them and you were failing on the mic, they had no problem butchering you live on TV.
Absolutely.
They bury the fuck out of you.
As much as we said Scott Hall likes to help people, if you were not doing good, he would carve you up, boy.
Oh yeah. Well, while we're on the subject of them, making a mockery of people, let's go back a couple of years when they did the Four Horsemen parody.
Oh yeah,
Where
Oh,
they got
Nash was Arn Anderson.
and Hall was not involved in this.
He was not involved in this
He was
one.
on one of his breaks. So,
Yep.
but Nash was in on it. He had the beer belly. This was not too long after Arn retired from a neck
Yes,
injury,
sensitive time for Arn Anderson.
so he got a little butthurt about it.
Well, he originally got Arn's okay to do it, but then
Nash took it too far.
when he came out with the empty beer cooler, which that was Arn's cooler, that's been documented. That was Arn's cooler. But the fact is that Arn's wife said they made you look like a drunk, all that stuff. Then all of a sudden it became an issue, and Nash as such apologized, and they made up with Arn over that.
Right.
But yeah, like
To
it's
be fair, half of the roster in the back was drunk in WCW.
true.
Yeah,
they
they
had
were all
Hogan
party
had a
animals.
beer clause in his contract, where his locker room always had to be stocked with beer.
Yeah, they were party animals. I mean, ask Sting. Sting looked into the party, and that
Yeah,
led
buddy.
to him falling off the wagon a bit too, and a lot of partying, probably a lot of cocaine.
Yes. So ultimately, the end of WCW's run, Scott Hall, which his last major hoorah in the company, he was in a world title match. It was
4-way match at Super Brawl 2000.
2000. Scott Hall ended up getting in a relationship with a woman who was related to one of the execs at Turner,
Bill Bush, I think.
Bill Bush, and their relationship didn't end up well. He ended up kind of like stepping out on her and was with another lady, and a lot of people
Cheated on Miss Bush.
and a lot of people claim this is what led to Scott being kind of finally ixnayed from WCW. He was
Bischoff wasn't in charge anymore.
no, so Scott's career in WCW ended on a whimper. Nash was there to the very end, pretty much.
The Bushes kicked Scott out.
and Bushes.
And eventually they were planning on doing a reboot of WCW, so I'm sure Hall and Nash would have been in that in some
They
perspective.
kept teasing Scott Hall coming back so many times. The fans would chant, "We want Hall" and all that because they loved Hall.
Oh, they loved
Scott.
Hall. But ultimately, WCW was bought out by the WWE.
Ah.
And then, fast forward a year later, No Way Out 2002,
NWO initials.
the NWO returned.
eject.
Yep, Vince.
The poison. Lethal dose of poison.
I'm gonna do it. The NW.
If anyone's gonna kill my company, it's gonna be me.
I'm not gonna let Ric Flair kill.
I created it.
Well, it's very sinister.
Vince's eyes almost bust out of his head during that
Dude, he
promo.
had to be on
And I think
drugs.
they turned a couple shades of red.
He did.
Yes.
And
So
very benign.
the boys returned at No Way Out 2002, which is pretty clever. No Way Out NWO. I always
Oh,
thought
yeah,
that
it
was
was on the
clever.
poster too. So yeah.
And
They
I
opened the
remember,
show, yeah.
I remember being so pumped for this because I'm like,
A lot of
holy
people-
crap,
yeah, a
they're
lot of
back.
people were
Because I was a WWE mark, so when they're back in the company, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, and to keep in mind, this was the first time that all of them had been in the company for years at
Yeah.
this point. You know?
And then that sets off They attack Austin that night, cost him the WWF Undisputed title.
Yeah, after they cut a really awkward babyface promo.
Yeah, I know. Vince is hyping them up as being the poison, and Hogan comes out and goes, "We're not here to kill the WWF. We're here to make it better."
And he goes, "God bless Vince and God bless the fans." And then they come out later and beat the shit out of Austin.
And then Scott Hall does the "Hey Yo." Everybody remembers it.
Oh yeah, you could tell in his face he was happy.
And we didn't mention this but in WCW he started the surveys.
Survey time.
Time to take a little survey.
How many people came here to see WCW?
How many people came to see the
NWO?
And that always got the
Survey
big
says
Now sometimes he say, "Who's here to see the WCW?"
WCW. And who see the
WO.
survey says
Another one.
one more for the good guys.
Yeah.
Oh, the bad guys.
No, the bad guys, yeah. And then he would do the hey yo.
Hey Yo.
And that would get one of the biggest pops of the night.
Oh, yeah.
The hey yo.
So we go into WrestleMania 18. Nash is hurt, so he can't perform.
Yeah.
But Hall, he's
Wad exploded on live television.
we haven't got
We
there
didn't
yet.
get there yet.
We're not
Oh,
quite.
never mind.
We're not quite there yet. But we're spoiler alert.
Man,
Spoiler,
I'm just off today.
Hey,
spoiler alert. No, it's okay. It's okay. We had a bit of a confusion on what we were going to ultimately talk about.
I have no preparation for this episode.
we're live, pal.
But that's okay. That's okay. But it's just you're enjoying the ride with us here, folks.
Did we mention the Rock segment with the NWO
No, we didn't.
at No Way Out?
That
where
was a
he
great
pretty
segment.
much buried the NWO right
Yeah,
then?
he goes, "Yo, Chico, Razor Ramon,
Ramon.
Big Daddy Cool Diesel."
I did reference that at the beginning, and then he buried Hogan too.
So Rock ends up feuding with Hogan for WrestleMania,
Right. So that
and then
leaves-
Austin ends up feuding with Scott Hall. Now I was really pumped for this. I really liked this because I thought this was a cool matchup.
Yeah, but they threw it on the mid card though.
Yeah, it's not the
Not
most.
to mention they reignited that alcohol again. Austin was pouring beer on Scott Hall and locking him in a beer cooler. And,
True, but that feud led to a lot of funny things. Do you remember he's got a gun?
Oh, the episode of SmackDown. Yeah, so Austin's chasing Hall and Nash, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're not gonna do nothing." And Austin pulls out a gun. He's got a gun, and it was like one of those net guns where you shoot a guy and you catch him in a net. So that was funny, and then.
But it totally killed the credibility.
Yeah, I mean, they were already made to look like punk ass bitches already.
Yeah, and then we get to WrestleMania.
And then, not to mention that segment where he's got Hall in the ring and he's like, "You don't want to have a beer with Stone Cold? Is that supposed to make me laugh? Slap my knee." And yeah, Hall was made to look like a total dick.
Yeah, and then we get to the match, of course. And
Yeah.
It's not the best match in the world,
It's
but
okay. But
Scott Hall gave one of the best sells to a stunner that there's ever
dude,
recorded on
he
film.
went flew. He flew.
Scott was on his way out the door, and he didn't really care what the repercussions of
So,
that were. He just did it.
He took that bump like a champ. Dude.
So after that, so what they ended up doing was Hogan left the NWO at the end of towards the end of WrestleMania. They kick Hogan out. They bring in X-Pac back in to join the NWO. They're kind of giving it a soft reboot, and then they do the draft. The draft's happening. The NWO collectively is drafted to Raw, and then their first big feud was Scott Hall versus Bradshaw.
Okay.
That was the big feud.
Okay.
Which led to their match at Backlash, and then this led to their match at Insurrection in England.
I don't think he even made it to that.
Well, he did make it to it. He wrestled Bradshaw that night.
Remember, they gotta be on the jet on the way home.
Yes, because to get to the pay-per-view in England,
Take a jet.
they had to take a little flight to jolly old England, and
Oh,
It was
the
the on the way home.
which is
And on the way home.
it was commonly referred to as the plane ride from hell. Yeah.
And this is where that old chestnut comes back.
Well, Scott Hall ended up passing out being on Halcyon. He claims that he thinks Kurt Hennig might have H-bombed him, which in his Halcyon stupor, he supposedly tried to be advancing forwardly on the flight attendant, and because of that, a few people got the axe, and Scott Hall was one of them.
He got cut
And
from.
then he had to be wheelchaired off of the plane because he couldn't stand.
He was that inebriated.
Yes,
Like,
but WWF offered to pay for his rehab, so that was nice of him.
he got cut out of the video game that year.
Yes,
Yep.
so that was his end of his tenure there.
So Nash stayed.
Nash stayed for a couple more years. Actually, probably another year, I think.
About a year and a half run, and then Hall went to TNA.
Yes.
Yeah, he was at the first TNA.
Scott Hall was in the first TNA
Gauntlet for the
NWA.
gold.
Yep.
Yep. That was a big deal for TNA getting Scott Hall.
Yeah, a big
Plus,
name.
it
Big.
was a boon for TNA.
Yes.
At the time, even if Scott Hall was still struggling with his demons.
Hey, did we mention he had a cup of coffee in ECW?
Yes,
Yeah.
I wanted to bring that up actually.
He had a cup of coffee.
So there's I think he's at one event. It was like an untelevised show,
It was an
right?
out show because he had one of the coolest entrances.
So there's a video, a home fan video, and I don't know. Have you ever seen his entrance at ECW?
No.
We're gonna watch it after this because
On the rated R-Tron.
yeah, we'll watch this because I'll make sure you see it because he's cut there. It's a shot on the entranceway, and no one knows who's coming up, and then they play the Fugees.
Yeah.
Is that
Radio Night?
Here I come? That's one of
Right.
it's a good song. And then all of a sudden Scott comes out and the place lights up.
Fucking blow up. They're like, oh my fucking god, it's Scott Hall.
Yep, and
He was out of WCW at this point.
Yep.
So he'd come.
And he would use that song for a lot of his time in Japan too.
Yeah, he did. He had a brief stint in Japan,
So
but he only did house show matches in ECW.
yes.
So and that didn't last long.
So in TNA he was there for the first big part of the year.
Yeah,
and then he
yeah.
was in and out.
Yeah.
That was the common theme with him. He was in and out of TNA a lot.
Pretty much, yeah. And then Nash. You know,
Nash showed up in 04 or 05.
well, before that, his quad.
Oh yeah, we forgot about
Now
the
we
quad.
go on that subject.
Now we can go to, oh!
So Nash comes back from injury. We talked about this before. And Nash's like, I'm medically clear.
Yep, they start the night with the NWO in full force. Big Show just joined them,
Yeah, for some reason. Okay.
and they're gonna have this big match. And all of a sudden, we have the match, and Nash gets tagged in.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Nash's quad goes.
That's where the lol Kevin Nash meme starts
And
with his quads.
yeah, his quad said "fuck you."
Yeah, and NWO was disbanded the next week.
Yeah, Vince said NWO is gone.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
They're
that
gonna
was-
kill it.
That was that for NWOs, and Nash comes back in 2003.
Yep, feuds with
gets back to
Triple H. Yep, and then cuts his hair and leaves.
Well, he had to cut his hair for
the Punisher.
movies to be the Russian.
And then in 2004, he debuts in TNA.
And Scott Hall is with him.
Yep.
And they were the
Kings of Wrestling.
with Planet Jarrett.
Yes, Jeff Jarrett.
A wild slapnuts appears.
Yes.
Shout out to Marky D.
Yes, Marky D.
Marky D. Shove it.
Shove it, man.
Ah, good.
Yeah, so they showed up at TNA as the Kings of Wrestling. They dressed like Elvis impersonators, I guess. Well, Hall was definitely into the Elvis get-up.
He was his big quote at the time was, "I'll be the one looking like Elvis."
Yeah, the one.
Well,
looking
because
like
in all fairness, Scott was getting a little chubby.
yeah, he was. Yeah, he's a little fat.
He's got the Elvis body going, kind of. And then they were on and off again throughout the early years. And then we get to Turning Point 2007.
So Hall comes back.
And he's going to team with Kevin Nash and Samoa Joe to take on Kurt Angle, Tyson Tomko, and AJ Styles.
Well, we get to the pay-per-view.
And it's gone.
Oh, yeah, Andy. Okay, so we're gonna have the.
All right, we're gonna have the tag match. Oh, Andy's gone. Andy's gone.
Another South Park reference.
So
So Samoa Joe is pissed about it.
and they
he
tell him
proceeds
to
to go on live to pay-per-view
and bury Scott Hall.
and calls him a punk, pretty much. And he also buries Kevin Nash.
Well, it earned him a big slap from Kevin Nash after
Because
that.
what
paintbrush,
what
ladies and
what was the line that specifically pissed him off? It was the what was it?
The whole fucking promo. I
Oh,
think.
okay, so okay.
Was not.
The whole promo pissed him off.
He basically was talking about he was digging at old guys here collecting their pension.
And he goes, even if we'll
Scott Hall punked out on everybody here tonight.
He goes, Chico,
And he
kiss
kinda
my ass.
Kiss my ass.
Didn't he dig slightly into alcoholism?
I don't remember if he did,
Fair
but
enough.
he said enough to where and the camera was panning on Nash in the
Nash is over
corner.
there going like,
Nash has got resting bitch face.
I think there was two lines he specifically said.
No, it wasn't resting bitch face. He was pissed off.
He was legitimately pissed. So yeah, but he goes, these guys. There's two guys in TNA. One who come here bust their ass every week. Then there's the guys who comes in and collect their pensions, and he specifically looks at Nash and says that.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, they replaced him with Eric Young, and he goes, I found a guy in the back that will come out here and bust his ass week in and week out, even when he's an old man.
Yep.
And he looks at Nash, and Nash is he's pissed.
You can see why Nash slapped the shit out of him after that.
He got slapped backstage because of that.
But they became cool after that. So
Yeah, but Nash continued his run in TNA.
he was for some reason he was involved with the X Division with Paparazzi
Oh yeah, let's
Productions.
mention that. Yeah, that was funny.
That was funny.
That
Yeah.
was some
Here's the thing: Nash and Hall, they're great for a laugh.
Oh, they're great.
They're- I
They're
love-
very good comedians. Yeah.
When they're not being the main guys, they're just back there cracking jokes and pranks.
And not to mention, we got Nash on commentary a lot, and he is gold on commentary.
Oh yeah,
He is golden.
he was Chet Lemon.
Well, that was after paparazzi.
We need
but-
Chet Lemon on the
Oh,
show.
Chet Lemon. I'm Black Show.
We invite Chet Lemon to come on
Chet
the show.
Lemon, yep.
Yeah,
But
Chet
Nash
Lemon.
would
yeah.
bury people on commentary and be so fucking funny
Think
about
about the pop, Kevin. About the IWC, if you were to come on the show and be Chet Lemon.
You don't even have to be Kevin Nash to be Chet Lemon.
Yeah.
it. Or you want to be Vinny Vegas or something.
Whatever you want to do, Big Sexy.
Want to do, big man.
Think about the pop, though.
Yeah.
Think about it.
But yeah, so Nash sticks around with TNA. He becomes part of the Main Event Mafia
Yes.
with Kurt Angle, Sting, and
Booker T,
and
Scott Steiner. Yep.
And it is what it is.
And then we get into 2010. Hogan and Bischoff come into the TNA, and with them comes some old faces
Yeah, here comes Scott.
and Sean Waltman. They form the band.
The
Band
band.
back together, ladies and gentlemen.
Curtis with Wolfpack song music in the background with no lyrics.
No lyrics, and Scott Hall wrestling occasionally in a sweater or a sweatshirt.
Talk about not giving a fuck.
And when he did wrestle in his gear, he was fit.
Very, very
What is it, Scott?
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
Scott, thanks for that. Thank
Yeah.
you, Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he was very winded when he would wrestle.
Yeah.
You could tell you-
In fact, it's kind of sad, but there was a tag match with Eric Young, Kevin Nash, and Scott actually needed Sean Waltman to assist him in the Outsider's Edge.
yeah,
It was,
very, very sad. And he didn't even do anything. And then he won the tag title with Nash.
and also during this, a lot of people don't remember they had a slight affiliation with the Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
Occasionally, Hall and Nash would they actually show
Show
up.
up at the gatherings.
What
and,
was it? Bloody Mania he showed up at one time?
And they formed the was it the JWO, the Juggalo World Order,
JW, listen to my redneck accent.
the Juggalo World Order.
Juggalo World Order, ladies and
Juggalo.
gentlemen.
Yep.
Juggalo World Order.
So so pretty much it wasn't too much later in 2010. Scott Hall was gone. Sean Waltman was gone. Nash stayed around for about another year. He showed back up to WWE the following year, and then
Well, he also had that 2011 as well. So
and then Scott was still having his issues with mug shots and his demons.
Showing up at wrestling shows inebriated.
Yes,
You know.
and then DDP comes in to save the day again.
Scott Hall's
No,
saving
Scott had gotten so bad he wasn't even on the circuit anymore. He was. They were saying he was going to die.
Yeah,
Yeah, like people were already writing Hall up like, okay, well,
He showed up.
Why DDP intervened?
yes,
Yeah,
and
because-
saved his life.
Yeah, he was his saving grace.
And he got him clean, got him healthy
With Jake
again.
Snake.
Yes, got him there too.
Yep.
And then we got in 2014.
Jake made the connection.
Yep,
Tip of the hat to Jake.
yep. Shout out.
So there's that full circle moment where they started WCW together, and he saved his life pretty
Yep.
much.
And then
2014,
we got Razor Ramon inducted into the Hall of Fame.
yep, he got his Hall of Fame, and he gave one of the greatest quotes ever.
Yep.
Hard work pays off, dreams come true. Good guys don't last, but
Bad guys do.
And yep, he went in as Razor. He didn't go in as Scott Hall, but
But that's okay, right? I mean,
Everyone knows.
well,
Scott
he would
Hall is
eventually.
Razor Ramon.
Well, he did eventually get into Scott Hall a few years
the,
later.
The NWO is a group.
Yes.
Yeah.
but yeah. So Hall's cleaned up and he's sober, and from then on
We get a couple of every now and then we get a nice appearance cameo from Scott Hall and Kevin Nash on Raw occasionally.
He come out and do the hey yo,
Hey,
still,
yo.
still get the pop.
He's looking really good, especially at the Raw reunion, Raw 25.
Raw
Was
20,
it-
well, he looked
There was
great.
1,000th Raw, and then there was the 20.
Well, the one
He
where,
wasn't even in the company.
well, the one where they did where they were at the
the Manhattan Center.
Scott looked really good.
He came out in his old school, blood drip, whatever that jacket was. He come out, had his he had those blood droplets
Yeah.
logo. Come out, did the hey yo, he got that last pop and all that. Mm-hmm. He had appearances. They did the NWO DX thing at WrestleMania.
Mania with
31.
Sting, yeah. Which,
He actually took a bump in that.
yeah, which,
Very late for that match.
Yeah, but
If that match was like 15, 20 years earlier, oh man.
if this was '98, this would have been
and
awesome.
here's a couple of things you got to consider with this big brawl. One, what the hell? I mean, if I was Sean Waltman, I'd be like, what do? I was in both groups.
He was literally.
He
Didn't they have
ultimately,
a spot where he was confused?
yeah, I think so.
Okay, so he comes out. And, I think he was with DX.
And then he takes the shirt off, right? As NWO under it.
So NWO comes out and the camera's cutting and he's going, huh? huh? He's like, what the fuck do I do?
Not to mention the fact, why would NWO want to help Sting?
When Sting was their biggest, and
I get maybe the Wolfpack connection with Nash,
Well,
but ultimately it doesn't really
well,
make
their
sense.
excuse was it was a
WCW, because we had to bring that dead horse
we
back.
had to make the point clear that WCW was a joke, which I know.
So that was his last.
Wins.
Was that his? Was that Hall's last WrestleMania appearance? Was that Hall's last WrestleMania
If you
appearance?
want to count when he showed up for the Hall of Fame and for the NWO, second to last.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because
And didn't he induct DDP?
I think he may have been.
I don't
know.
I don't think they would have.
No, DDP inducted him, right?
Yeah.
DDP inducted
Was
Jake
it
in the
Nash?
Hall of Fame.
Oh, you're right. Nash. Yeah,
It was
Nash.
Nash he inducted, I think,
Because
right?
that led to Diesel being put in the Hall of Fame,
So Diesel gets put in the Hall of Fame in 2015,
and then eventually collectively the NWO in 2020.
2021.
Oh.
So it was going to be 2020.
Yeah, I think 2020 got
But
canceled.
then
Because of the pandemic.
something happened.
Of the Rona.
Yeah,
A little bit of vid of the 19.
And then 2022.
The bat disease.
Yeah, and then of course we get to 2022.
And
Damn it! Why you have to go have relations with Pangolin? South Park moment. If you know, you know.
it's the disease that comes from China. I had to go there.
Oh man.
We don't do political, but I'll do that.
But yeah, 2022.
Yeah, very dark day.
We lost Scott Hall.
Indeed.
I just died out of nowhere. Like
Yeah, it's
he
great.
took a fall.
Upwards.
Yeah,
So
that's
he was doing good, and then he took a fall and
I think
complications from surgery and all that.
I ain't ashamed to admit it. I teared up when that happened.
I remember
It
getting
was
that notification, and I was like, "No fucking way."
it was one of the few ones deaths that really fucked me up.
Yeah, because like we said, he was doing great. He was living his best life.
He was actually getting more involved with the performance center, which what better teacher can you have
Oh, dude.
in some cases than Scott Hall?
especially when it comes to the psychology and
Hall was-
keeping kayfabe while also
Yeah,
being
Hall was
able to hand it down to the next guy.
And he was going to have a job for life.
dude. He was set for life.
He was clean, sober.
He was living his life. He was reconnecting with his family, and he was.
Who knows? He might have ended up working with Shawn Michaels in NXT as the movers and shakers there. I mean,
he would have been a great teacher and all that. I mean, you want to learn wrestling? He's one of the guys you want to learn it from.
Promo class.
oh yeah.
Promos, the ring psychology, the character development. 'Cause,
Nobody better.
I mean, Hall was.
He was one of the top ones.
He was really instrumental to a lot of characters. Like, let's go back to Sting's Crow gimmick.
Yeah.
He's the one who came
He's
up
the
with
one
it.
that-
Damian Priest to this day. That's
Yeah, he
modern
does.
day.
Yeah, he's a big.
He actually got Scott Hall's blessing to do the Razor's Edge in the Surf Walk.
Yep. So Damian Priest was definitely inspired by Scott Hall, but like I said, he definitely inspired the Crow gimmick to Sting.
Yeah.
He said, "You ever seen the movie The Crow?" And he goes, "You should totally paint your face black and white and all that." And
God had his hand in a lot of things a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he gave a lot of people really good ideas.
He did. So he was a smart for the business,
Yeah.
and he it was definitely a big blow to the wrestling community when
Yeah.
he passed away. And all
I
that.
felt bad because
And Kevin being the one
Yeah,
of the
for Kevin.
moral and kind of physical, especially in his later years, supports for Scott. Let's not discount Kevin's role in this. Kevin was pretty much the crutch for Scott for
He was,
a
he
long
was his
time.
right hand man,
Yeah.
pretty much. And we were gonna go meet the Outsiders
yeah, we were going to go to a horror convention
2020.
to see it was all three of them, right? Hall, Nash, and or was it just Hall?
No,
and
it was-
Let's
it
get
was-
some clarification for the audience here. A horror convention?
Yeah.
So there's a horror convention in Cincinnati called
Horror.
not
Oh,
I
horror.
heard horror. It's
Not
not
horror.
gentlemen. I'm not even trying to
No.
be perverted.
They might have been to a few of those,
It might have been, yeah. Who knows?
but
Maybe.
no, it was a horror convention,
Horror Hound, Cincinnati, Ohio. They were going to be there in 2020.
and then that got canceled because of it was prevented because of coronavirus,
Because of a bat disease, yeah.
and then then he ended up dying. But I ended up meeting Kevin Nash at that same horror convention a few years later.
Yeah, he met
But
Big Sexy. Yeah.
It would have been nice to meet. I would have loved to meet Scott.
I was going to be so starstruck to meet Scott Hall. Man,
Yeah,
Been nice.
Yeah,
One of the biggest
I would-
what ifs if I got to meet him.
Hey, he could have gave us the "Hey yo,"
Oh, I would have loved
that
that.
would have been awesome. Chico.
Or maybe just a too sweet touch.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna do. Was do the too sweet.
Post COVID, it probably would have been a little iffy.
Yeah,
Well, even before COVID, that would have never happened. Now,
maybe.
If you had a bottle of hand sanitizer.
Yeah. Yeah, that too sweet thing. Bullet Club, you need to give your residuals to the click because Bullet Club, the too sweet and the whole thing.
Didn't they get a cease and desist?
No, I don't know. But
They
I
had
know.
They did the
It's
one
hard to
sweet.
prove
I know.
that didn't start before the NWO and the click.
Well, I know that Scott Hall gave his blessing to the Bullet Club to do it. They even said, he goes, yeah, you guys do it, take it. I'm not going to hold
Keeps
it.
us relevant.
See, that's another thing about Hall. He was not. Selfish.
He was very giving.
generous.
He was
He was
very
not selfish
giving.
at all. He said, "Go ahead, I don't care."
And the thing, and then,
I'm sure Nash probably gave him a blessing.
yeah,
He's probably all right, whatever.
like we said, he's not as generous as Scott.
Well,
but-
at least publicly.
yes. And then, Nash, we're here today, current day, and Nash, he's got his own podcast. Click this. Check it out.
Shout out, click this, the Nash.
Yeah, and the one thing I didn't even mention, but I was a fan of, Nash and Hall were very good with those old school shoot promos that were happening in the late 2000, like the 2000 teens or late 2000s. Nash and Hall did a lot of rounds on the shoot circuit.
Oh yes. The before Inside the Ropes, it was
Kayfabe commentaries,
Kayfabe commentaries.
or title match wrestling. I've seen that
Yes.
one. A lot of good ones.
Was it U shoots or something?
U shoots too. Hall was in there both sober and when he was at his worst.
Yeah.
But you learned a lot of great insight, a lot of great stories from those guys. I highly recommend, if you're going to get into shoot promos, watch Nash's and watch Scott Hall's.
I'm gonna have to watch some now.
And
Scott,
Jim Cornette.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. You,
Speaking of Paul Scutless pricks,
Just for entertainment.
Vince Russo. Hello, Vince.
I learned.
Not the opinion of the show, Vince. We'd still love to have
Yes.
you. That was just him doing a Jim Cornette.
I was just doing an impression there. I know you and Jim are buddies.
A lot of good insight I learned listening to Scott Hall. He's a good teacher. You learned a lot of
I
interesting.
definitely have to take a listen to that.
And Kevin Nash is good with some stories. They got some good stories.
Oh yeah, they were great storytellers.
But that's where we are today. We're without Scott Hall. We still have Kevin Nash, and
We're still clicking this.
yep,
Damn
too
right.
sweet. And then their legacy will forever live on. Scott Hall's specifically, especially.
Oh yeah, his
Let's touch on Kevin Nash's rough spot in the modern times when his son passed. Kevin
Yes.
Nash had some
Condolences to
rough
Nash and
thoughts
his son.
spirits and times and struggles with suicide.
And that was not too long after he's lost Scott too. So it was like a 1-2
very dark
punch.
period for him.
It was It was his son Tristan 1-2 punch. And
definitely had to check on
my
that.
thoughts and stuff are with Kevin. He was not too long after all that. He came back on a podcast and he looked like he was handling it well. Like I couldn't believe it. I was surprised. I mean, I would
And
not.
then there was a comment that came out
Yeah, I think you're right. I forgot what it was.
about something about he had thought about it or
He was contemplating
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Well, he mentioned something about a gun.
Those who live on Twitter or X now. I'm sure you can give us the quote.
And can you blame the guy for having thoughts like that? Those thoughts are going to be natural when you have a big 1-2 like that.
Yeah, he lost.
He lost his. Well, he's not his blood brother, but it was his brother.
Like yeah.
And his son. He lost two
Road buddy. I
two
mean,
of his big important factors and two of the most
the
important
guy
people in his
spent more
life.
time with that dude than it is the family.
Yeah, with his own wife.
Yeah, I mean that was his ride or die partner in crime, if
Yeah.
you will. You know.
I mean-
And, him losing that and his son. I mean, I can only imagine. It fucked anybody up in the head like that.
Yeah. So thoughts with
definitely-
you, Kevin.
yep.
Still.
Right, stay strong, big man.
Yeah,
You know,
so-
we need you to stick around.
Rated
longer.
R Wrestling Podcast has your back.
We
So-
got you, big Kev.
So like I said, we're not the most astute wrestling historians. I think we did our best to kind of to cover
Or Marks.
the history of these two guys. Just because of how influential they are. They're, like we said, they're two of the coolest fuckers they've ever been in the business. The original two-man power trip. These guys have so much influence on the business and why we love it today. And rest in peace, Scott. We'll never forget you. Kevin Nash still be out there. We appreciate all your work. And anybody have any final thoughts? Anything they want to say about Scott Hall, Kevin Nash combination of the two before we sign off here? Before Kyle signs off with his ass.
I would like
Way to bring the fucking mood down with your asshole.
I would like to just thank them both for some of the coolest moments storylines, gimmicks from the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah.
Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the sacrifices. We greatly respect you.
Thanks for oozing machismo and being Big Daddy cool, and you got your guys' influences will live forever, especially Scott. Scott's influences will never go away.
Yep, and he had one of the coolest moments, I'll argue, in the history of the wrestling business, having a fan
Many cool moments.
throwing a beer at Scott to try to get one up on him, and Scott just with without missing a beat.
Sent it back a couple times.
And just like that,
Hair's 100% perfect.
his hair
And
is still
so,
in place.
to that dickhead, fuck you, Scott Hall got one back on you.
That's right.
It's just made him look better.
Yeah.
It's made the bad guy look cooler.
So, with that being said, we're going to sign off here today. Thanks for tuning in with us here for the Rated R Wrestling Podcast, Episode 9, our look back on Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. One more time before we go. One more for the bad guys. Hey, yo! So, I'm Aaron, a.k.a. Stud Muffin Supreme.
And I'm Dick Big Johnson, Kyle.
And I'm Michael the Motherfucker, and this has been
The Rated R Wrestling Podcast.
See y'all later.
See you, fuckers.